well, the past performances and Dignitas's certain lack of run of form. Let's get into the action.
Well, kicking things off here, Dignitas on this T-pistol round. We see Freiberg with tons of utility as well. As they head over towards outside, C-Power's got all the information to work with. He's going to wrap around this container, might be able to find himself a freebie onto Forest if he's looking the wrong way, but that's always going to be the case. Forest actually a little bit late to the wrap coming through A main. That allows C-Power to push through, try and deny this plant. They're just ticking down the clock here. The bomb will eventually go down. And it's looking like Dignitas are starting to find the kills that are needed to take this pistol as they near finish things off, and it's all down to Flit in this 1-on-3.
He's got plenty of time, but where's the defuse kit? I don't know if there's one in play. And with the USPS trying to poach in, he's not got full armor anyway. So the $350 head armor investment is completely out of the window. And right now, he is also just trying to find maybe exits. No opportunity in this one. So backtracks, keeps hold of his Kevlar. And that's all she wrote for the pistol.
Wow, 2K in the bank now for FORZE. They're interested to see if they actually go for an investment here. In the meantime, a pause is gonna come through. Oh, you hate to be seeing pauses this early on.
We've had a couple.
We have had our fair share so far today.
I really do like that pistol from Dignitas there, just playing to their advantage, which is, of course, the speed. We know that they've got the firepower to push this one over the top, but if it comes down to quite a tactical approach, I realistically don't know if Dignitas would be favored. I just guess they wouldn't by any means. This is what I like to call a Forza. A full force here in the second.
Forza. Not sure if that will catch on. Nonetheless,
no, I don't think so.
No, nor do I. But they actually seem to have a flurry of weapons to work with. Not your average weapons that you'll see, but that Nova, sometimes viable on a map like Nuke. A couple of pistols, this scout to hold outside, so far not spotting out anything. C-Power's gained a lot of info, though. He's heard a lot of sound cues, and the wall of smokes is going to mean that they're crossing. Actually converts one of them straight through it as well. The man advantage in FORZE's favor. No trade potential to come through, and look at FaceCrack's position. I'm not sure if he gets anything here, Squid. He might just get swung and overwhelmed, but I'm excited.
They've got the crossfire with this Deagle as well to divert the attention, and FaceCrack needs to be by name and by reputation, as they do fall back from FaceCrack. 1-0, and Dignitas wanting to take the trail outside. Instead, just circumnavigating the Nova. And as the clock ticks down to 60, Dignitas still have loads of time to use and utilize. And at long range, here's the angle posted. He's going to surely go down. Not even able to rattle off one shot with a shotgun. This actually does come down to the double set play of pistols. With the single player falling, that's Get Right gone. Now they have to walk into quite the set stack on the A-bomb site. They do deal with it perfectly. It's Forest with both. Flit quite nicely. Pitches and pokes back in with 2, but it's not good enough 2-0.
Those pistols absolutely had to do more damage on that bomb site, and they just couldn't do so. 2 very nice headshots from Flit there right at the end, but it just wasn't enough. There was no way he was going to find the third without getting traded, and it does mean that FORZE are now down to this eco, and Dignitas are going to know it. So, 3 MAC-10s coming out. They want to try and farm some cash. They should be able to convert this round with ease. There is 3 grenades on this CT side, but I think they will more than likely throw them outside as, yeah, Dignitas just storm into this A-bomb site.
Seems to be easy. A site for the taking. That nade's not going to do too much either. So at the 90-second mark, that C4 can slip away as the re-smokes are planted. No expense spared for the Dignitas side, as they want to survive this one with 4 alive, perhaps. That's a beautiful HE as well. Just to blast another out of the server. No chance for FORZE. They do want to just post up for these exits. Trying to do some economic damage.
the issue they face is they don't want these Mac 10s to farm kills. Whilst they'd love to do some economic damage, maybe grab an AK to bring across, they also don't want to just give their opponents these freebies, and well, that's what they end up doing right at the end. Freiburg and Get Right find themselves $600 a piece with those final frags. Now we go into round number 4. Here's the full investment from FORZE, the AWP on C-Power as well. For now, it's looking like there's actually going to be no reinvestment for Dignitas. They're going for a bonus here. This should be FORZE's round for the taking. With these 3 Mac 10s in play, unless they go for something super fast, it might not work out for them. And Exist is actually reinvesting. He's going to go for that AK. There's now 2 Mac 10s. Interesting to see if FORZE can convert this one.
Yeah, this needs to be a fast running gun from Dignitas, and with the shot away already coming through, there's the first 2. FORZE with a beautiful shutdown of that A bomb site. The smokes weren't really placed for Dignitas, so they were at a massive advantage, to say the least. And with Jerry slaloming outside, making no thank yous, he's going to spot out everything. Nevertheless, gets taken down. Halzerk, without the trusty AWP in hand, now needs to face one himself. C-Power, this is where he's best postured. Just taking angle by angle. A terrible flash allows him to fall back once again.
They can't really peek off of any of these. They're not facing C-Power whatsoever, and he's able to go big. FaZe Crack finishes things off with that final headshot. That's going to be an easy round for FORZE. They keep 4 players alive as well, so minimal reinvestments needed. Of course, this will be another buy-up from Dignitas. They had 2 Mac 10s in the last. They had no AWP purchased either. Now in number 5, this is where the big guns come out. It's only Exist down to the Galil. And an opportunity for them to convert this round and maintain this lead. If they can't do so, though, FORZE level things back out and are in a good position to extend it further.
This lies in the potential for some form of reset. Actually, for both teams, with the economies being fairly low, I can guarantee FORZE won't really be able to buy all too much in the next. I guess they've got a little bit of buffer. Nevertheless, with FaZe Crack finding that opening shot, things are looking a little more promising for the CTs. Dignitas forced outside instead.
Oh, it's a good flash. It actually allows C-Power a good angle, but those wall of smokes, well, they are going to deem him rather redundant right now. I like this boost coming through. Halzerk's not actually going to be able to find anything with it, but by making all of this noise with C-Power in Garage, he's going to be able to hear all of this and relay it to his teammates. Surely a rotation down to B comes through now. It might even be him to do it. Dignitas are almost certainly going for this B site. There's 40 seconds on the clock. Jerry's in position to find himself a kill, possibly more. Surely they anticipate it, though.
Oh, the jump peek. And was that a jumping shot from Freiburg? What the hell was that? Jerry drops, and that's got to be a bit of a head scratcher and a face pumper, as Dignitas pretty much are firm proprietors of this B-bomb site. A 3 versus 3 with the HP advantage towards the T's. Proceedings do change ever so slightly by the nade, but it's not, of course, going to find the frag. There's another HE in hand. That's going right into Freiburg's position as well and forces him out. Leveling up the numbers once again. Lays this crossfire in wait. And FaZe Crack just doesn't have enough HP to feel confident enough to go back into this B-bomb site. Dignitas, that's 4. And I can hear the chat ticking. Is this a tactical pause for FORZE? I'd like to think so.
Possibly. This round really didn't go all too well for them, especially considering they had so much information. C-Power, there was that wall of smokes. He heard all of those players popping down to secret. In that scenario, you almost always just call that rotation and have your teammates ready to shut down that B push. Instead, it really just felt like Jerry was there. And then a retake came through that really couldn't get a whole lot done, because it can be quite difficult to get back into that B bomb site when the T's have got that bomb down. They've got those post plants. There's a lot of off angles that you have to be wary of. A lot of crossfire potential as well for the terrorists to set up. And as you say, it allows Dignitas to extend their lead further. And FORZE, well, they'll still be on a buy, but only a FAMAS in hand for Jerry. Nonetheless, FaZe Crack opens things up with the first.
This is really where FORZE need a change of pace. Yes, they've taken the opening frag, realistically, M&J, in most of these rounds, but failing to convert against the star power and, let's call it, flair of Dignitas. Just very slowly holding these angles. C-Power's not going to spot anything above Silo. I like to call it marshmallow, but everybody hates that, so I've stopped. I've not reverted to my old ways. I'd like to say it so often that that becomes the lexicon, but instead, C-Power, he's asserting himself one more time. Couple of quick kills, and the AWP is still roaming. Dignitas haven't taken care of him thus far, and it's get right with the AWP instead. Don't often usually see this man holstering the sniper, but C-Power, yeah, he puts up one more. It's pretty much beautiful stuff, but get right, I guess a slight opportunity. If he can find the M4 of Almays, not gonna happen. 2-4.
Almays had a very good angle there. No way that Get Right would anticipate that one, but, well, the AWP show we saw that round was absolutely incredible. C-Power plays the situation very, very well indeed. Especially that third shot that he hit was really beautiful stuff. Bang, straight in the head. Really clean stuff.
That's what makes C-Power so influential. Just the quantity of those multi-kills forces Dignitas back onto pistols here. I think this is their first eco in this series. Shouldn't be the last if FORZE can put the building blocks in place. Yes, the pistol's influential, it's so, but baiting off the ladder, the bomb does go down. That's a bit of a problem for FORZE here. I guess you shouldn't be allowing that C4 to go away so easily. Gives a little bit more money to Dignitas in the next, but no opportunity to win this round here. As the smokes go down and the pistols get crushed, should be one and done for Get Right. But he does steal a second, and now he wants to bail. Unable to do so. A third secured for FORZE. I think that was the guarantee, M&J. But a bit of a costly round against just Glocks without the body armor.
It absolutely is. Losing 2 players and the plant going down will be a round that Dignitas are happier with, considering they just had the Glocks. And I'm not surprised FORZE didn't realize it, because to be honest, I didn't even realize it until the bomb went down. That was so fast from Dignitas. It's round number 8, and of course an opportunity to talk about our partners over at Hellcase. Make sure you use code MALTA15 for a 15% refill bonus when you top up.
Feels like we've seen so much action already in this half, and we're barely even halfway through of the first side. Now, a bit of an aim rush. Face crack, nice angle. Able to convert onto 2 quick kills. And FORZE have all of the building blocks in place for a fairly solid defense. There's Jerry once again. Forrest's on barely any HP. And what a conversion. That wallbang's sensational. And now he needs to rely on C-Power making a mistake. The bomb J is in no man's land. I've got no idea how Forrest expects to salvage this one, but going through ramp might be the best bet. He needs to isolate these angles and catch C-Power off guard. There's no other way to find this. And maybe going through heaven, it could be his best bet, and he still has 60 seconds to play with. So heading outside instead. I always talk about the 6th sense that great Counter-Strike players often have. And C-Power, the longer that it ticks away from this clock, the more of a chance there is of a flank coming through. And they must know that Forrest is low HP. Surely he's holstering the pistol, and I'd love to see C-Power's angle. How is he holding this one? Of course, he's not switched out to the AK. Instead, an AWP in hand. And if he misses the no-scope here, it could be game over. Let's see if Forrest can connect the shot. Now trying to hightail his way down. The smoke goes for a little bait setup. Doesn't know that C-Power is down below. And this is going to be a silent snatch of the C4. Forrest needs to do it right now. And boom, he's gone. Lemmy's back out the fence. There's the Molotov. Almost tickles him down. Doesn't really allow C-Power out. And without a lot of HP left, he's going to come hightailing his way through. He needs one bullet. And there's the Molotov as well. Forrest, here's the conversion. Perhaps C-Power. He's missing everything. And there's the connection. Up to 4. But that was messier than a dropped lasagna.
Well, I like that analogy. That was nearly incredible for Forrest. He played that very, very well to actually retrieve the bomb as well. But just a huge whiff at the end there. All he needed was one more bullet to connect, and he's tapping away and just cannot find it. A real shame. But to start this round off, what the hell was that? Crazy, crazy lucky shot going through that wall to find that wall bang onto Jerry.
Got to have a little bit of luck. Got to have a little bit of game sense. 4-4.
Wow. Tactical timeout coming out from Dignitas as well. Not the worst time for it. Especially considering they took this early lead and now FORZE have pulled it right back. They now sit level. FORZE haven't really had the opportunity to rack up their bank massively. Of course, the weapons just cost more money on that CT side, and you have to invest in kits and things like that as well. So it does mean that off the back of that last one where they only kept C-Power alive, everybody's had to reinvest. They've eaten away at the bank that they had. Now C-Power is the only man with money, so an opportunity for Dignitas, if they can convert this round, to reset the economy of their opponents. But they haven't got a whole lot to work with here in number 9.
The economy game is definitely like a game of cat and mouse here for Dignitas. This force-up makes sense considering FORZE don't have a lot of money, but they have to do the damage and it's just not coming through. A very clean round. Surviving with 3, that AWP's still in play. And there's the trade up to the AK as well. 5-4, and this is where Dignitas might fall into a slump on this T side. FORZE might actually face just pistols. If they can lose very minimal rifles here in number 10. Yeah, there's every opportunity that Dignitas fail to then drive the scoreline back. 4, it's good enough at this point of the map, but this is where things get harder. It's a uphill climb.
C-Power. The man with the AWP, especially on a map like Nuke, can be very dangerous when you allow him to survive round after round and rack up his bank account. Get right. He's trying to go flying as he jumps around the corner to try and open up the first, but he gets completely shut down. These pistols not doing any work whatsoever, and the only saving grace is that they've managed to sneak their way down to B. A bomb plant could happen here, but I'm not sure. I don't think Freiburg gets away with this. Just a... No, he doesn't.
Okay, then. I guess it doesn't matter too much for the Dignitas economy. They're already sat all above $5,000 before the investment comes through. But every little helps as in terms of your Counter-Strike economy here. They will, of course, go for the buy here, but eating up another tactical timeout. I think that's their 3rd. And we're only 11 rounds through here. This is only the 11th. And they've used, I think, 3/4 of their tacticals here in this map. So you might run a little short on them going on to perhaps a scary, tough second side. You know that you need to take the majority of your rounds on that CT half. But realistically, what are you really talking about on the counter-terrorist side of a map like Nuke? You've got your positions. Unless you want to diversify the setup massively, that's when maybe you take a tactical. But most of the time, you have to go a bit more in-depth with these tactics on that T side. You need to know the setup, put the building blocks in place, and Dignitas are obviously prepared. They've been playing with each other for years, but 6-4, let's see what they pull out.
You know what part of the map that I actually almost forgot existed because we just haven't seen it at all this map, is ramp. Dignitas have taken no control over towards ramp whatsoever. They've just had no presence at all. Instead, every single round, they try and go for A and the outside control. Also, it's got a nice angle, somehow doesn't connect it. Instead, actually takes damage from C-Power. That should have been a kill for Dignitas all day long. It's just not quick enough to the trigger.
It's a peculiar spray. I think you've got to get very lucky with that one.
That's actually something I've never seen before. I've never seen someone spam that floor.
No, I can't remember seeing it myself either.
Oh, the gap.
These are some bad smokes, and we all know how much I love this. Jerry's got a good angle right through, and there's no punishment angle here for Dignitas. So a third smoke has to be thrown. Jerry now knows exactly where these players are. It's a lot of damage dealt. Look at how many bullets are pumped into Freiburg right there. Down to 30 HP. And now they have to walk into this setup slightly weakened. Back to A perhaps with only 25 seconds left. Tick-tock, they're running out of time. And Jerry still has the angle at the ready. And where are the smokes for Dignitas? They've used them all already on the cross, which they don't even use or utilize. They have to get the damage done with just 10 seconds on the clock, Jay. They've really run this to zero. And with Almeza just staying alive like the Bee Gees on the A-bomb site, how are they going to get this bomb down in the way? It's the last possible second to get the job done. And Freiburg now, he's sandwiched inside. And the M4 doesn't pitch in. What a headshot. Leaves just Z-Power versus 2. And I've got no idea how Dignitas have perhaps taken this one over the top. Freiburg's at the ready, exists there to play the crossfire. And there's the fifth. An unbelievable round, cutting that incredibly close.
Dignitas do very, very well at the end there, but I'm not sure. I don't think that was part of their plan. I think they actually were going to go down to B, and then after taking tons of damage in secret, they said to themselves, do you know what? They've got all the information. They know that we're here. If we go down to B, that's our death sentence. So instead, they went back to A, and it actually worked out well for them. A couple of little misplays. Almeza on that site, not being aware of Heaven, despite the fact that they had the information. That certainly cost him. I would have liked to have seen him maybe fall back to Hut and play the numbers on the retake instead. Nonetheless, finally, Dignitas looking like they want to try and take some control over towards ramp, but it's flipped to open things up before the trade comes through.
FORZE don't look as stable as I ordinarily thought they would be on the counter-terrorist side. If they lose this one, it's almost a full reset with the loss bonus trickling down. Not quite to 1,400, but not enough to get a full buy in the next. Instead, they've decided to get assertive, take map control. It's Jerry up behind. He did have the support, but falling away back to the A-bomb site. And how did Dignitas respond? They've got nobody watching this flank. And Jerry, oh, he's right in behind. There's a freebie. And he just falls away. No opportunity for a trade for the Swedes. And how are Dignitas going to respond off this? It's right down ramp, expecting this to be non-exposed. With 40 seconds left, they're heading down to just challenge FaceCrack, the solo defender downstairs, who has to come in with at least one here. If he can find Freiburg, potentially drop that bomb, then this gets very complicated. What was that headshot? Incredibly consistent from Freiburg so far. Levels up the numbers. There's the delayed plant. And nevertheless, the spray away not held. FORZE wants to go for this one instead. Great headshot, bomb on his back, and the AWP in hand. Wants to circumnavigate C-Power once again. This is almost identical setup to before, but with 6 seconds on the board. He's actually run a perfect fake through ramp. C-Power had no idea before that bomb goes down.
That was actually really smart, and he got the timing down to the T. Now a 1 versus 1, AWP versus AWP. FORZE, of course, low HP, but it shouldn't come into play unless C-Power knows it and opts for the pistol instead. The long-range angle, a 50-50 for FORZE to take as well if he does peek around this silo. Oh, C-Power's actually getting super aggressive. He knows that FORZE is low HP, and the whiff. FORZE can't connect the shot. He's dancing around this silo. He gets the no-scope. FORZE somehow converts the 1 versus 1 and puts Dignitas onto 6. They're now sitting level, and the economy of FORZE has been reset.
I'd call it nip magic if it was 2014, but what a no-scope to finish things off there. Beautiful combination with the pistol, and FORZE doing what he does best. 6-6, and that's the breaking point for the FORZE economy. They don't have any money in the reserves. This has to be a fairly wholesome eco, and Dignitas' opportunity to get onto 7, potentially even winning this T side on Nuke. Remember, this is their map pick, and with Inferno coming up next, I don't know how I favor them in that matchup. I would say that FORZE would probably pretty easily take that second, but let's see what Dignitas have in the tank. It often comes down to those clutch situations. That firepower, as we pre-faced this series, should be a guaranteed 7th.
Definitely should be, as they're just against these Deagles. And as you say, Not a whole lot of hope for them on Infernos. They absolutely have to take this nuke map. Forza have actually played Inferno 40 times in the last 3 months, which is, I think, actually a record for me. I don't think I've ever seen that before. They're super confident with it. Look at this angle from Jerry. I thought it would go overlooked, but somehow Holzerk actually checks it. That was really Forza's only chance of finding this opening pick, possibly even 2, and giving them a lifeline in this round.
I can't imagine that Forza can do too much. Even economical damage, I guess it has some viability if you take a clean win in the 14th, maybe forcing Dignitas into a really awkward economic situation in the 15th. But a lot of things have to go Forza's way, and Dignitas, once again, they haven't learned their lesson. They're tickling this clock really low, and, well, here come the kills. Pistols at the ready, and there's the backtrack angle onto the AWP. Nice conversion, just 9 seconds left as they're finding all of these frags. Last man spotted, and Flick, I don't think he can do anything to prevent this bomb from going down. He can't. Instead, the AK doesn't poach through, and Dignitas, more success on the T side.
Well, Forza did incredibly well there to not only find 3 kills, but actually get right just saves that UMP. He doesn't have the opportunity to upgrade to an AK, so they're only saving 1 of those rifles. Now they face up against Forza in number 14, where they've got a full buy coming through. Actually quite limited utility. This is a shame to see. Face crack only with the smoke, C-Power with nothing. Jerry with no offensive utility, just that smoke and flash. They have got the firepower and the aimers at hand to do work with it, though. Let's see what they can do.
Well, it's certainly time to shine for Forza if they want to win this half, and it's just get right ripping through again. That's really disgusting stuff with the UMP. Almost finding both of those kills as well. There's an opportunity there where he nails that shot onto C-Power. And Forza end up with a head-scratching 14th round, which pretty much seals the deal for the half, considering it's not going to be a good buy whatsoever in the next. There's a possibility, a good opportunity that Dignitas take a 9-6 T-side here, unless C-Power can be the saving grace. This is a tighter attack. Needs to separate the numbers, but the no-scope whiffs. And now Dignitas trailing down Secret. Is this going to be another last-second push? Or have they learned their lesson? I mean, the heart rate has been at an absolute maximum since the start. But with 35 seconds left, for another team, this would be a go time. But for Dignitas, they've got another 20 seconds on the clock. And there's the headshot. All of these players so low on HP. And are Forza going to decide to throw in the towel here in the 14th? I think they might have to. Considering, I mean, in a matchmaking server, you get all of the damage telegraphed to you. I guess a couple of these shots have been headshots with the M4s. But in a 4 versus 2, I guess you're just throwing away the AK and sniper rifle. You'd never be going for this ordinarily. Deficit of rounds might push it back in their favor. Obviously, they're not going for this one. Allows Dignitas onto 8. It's going to be a sketchy buy in the next for Forza.
That was actually quite smart how Dignitas played that in that 4 versus 3 scenario. When they go around that corner, they know that a CT commonly plays on that angle, and therefore the 2 low HP players go right at the back. Because if they push him first, Jerry's allowed to connect a couple of body shots and brings it down into a 3-on-2. All of a sudden, it's very, very doable. Forza will most certainly go for that one. The rotations will come in, and Dignitas have problems on their hands. But the full HP players swinging first means that Jerry gets a dink in, but it's not a kill. And even though they've done tons of damage, and despite the fact that it's actually a 4 versus 2, they have a HP advantage, it's still a 2-man deficit. And that means that you're just going to get outplayed in every scenario because they're just going to have those crossfires set up and the post plants will be nearly unbreakable. It means that Dignitas can put themselves onto 8. Good opportunity of the 9th here if they don't throw it away. Oh my goodness, the auto shotgun.
Wow.
What was that?
Half over. That is quite the chomper for Jerry. 3 quick kills. don't really have much to say about that. That XM's a little bit of a crocodile. Snaps into action. Look at this. Snap, snap, snap. Here it comes again. Wait for it. Snap. It's so nasty, especially when you're on low HP. It's just so impossible to survive. I think we've all been there in CS when you're just holding the angle, AK-47 in hand. I've got this, boys. Then an XM jumps across the corner, blasts you in the face, takes you away, and you throw your PC in the bin. So I'm done. That meme of that old guy with the mustache throwing his PC setup away in the skip.
Oh, right.
You know that guy, M&J? The one that looks like
so.
Mac from Australia. That one.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think I know what one you're talking about. I think I know. Either way, very, very frustrating, especially in a final round like that where, as you say, Dignitas actually had a huge advantage. I'm not sure if I agree with that change of pace, considering they knew that they had a huge firepower advantage, or at least they should have known that they'd have the firepower advantage. To charge straight in, there's always going to be potential that there are shotguns or SMGs up close. I would have liked to see a slower, more methodical round like we had seen from them throughout their T half. Nonetheless, 8-7, especially in their favor, is a fantastic half. They just have to be careful here. FORZE, if they can take this pistol round, they still have a lifeline in this one. And if they do manage to convert nuke, then it might just be series over. So Dignitas have to make sure that they keep their composure, especially as now the odds are showing them as the favorites in this one.
That's a massive change of pace. Remember, FORZE were fairly firm favourites when we got started over in the first half. Dignitas, though, the hardest part of the battle is closing. They've got to win this fight. CT-sided pistol here. Pretty standard by all things considered. Forest on kit duty. As him and Get Right have the combination over by ramp. There's Halzuk to try and take up the secondary angle, but shutting down this initial player, Halzuk has to backtrack. He's being chased away by the Glocks, and they convert onto another. There's Freiburg able to find another. It's quick 2 kills. It changes up the pace in its entirety. FORZE, they look a bit lost right now. The bomb just isolated over beside the ramp. That's in the hands of Almiser. He's already found 2 kills. But with Jerry towards the other side of the equation, Dignitas just holding serve. They don't really have anybody towards this A bomb site, and this becomes a problem as the C4 goes down in a way. This turns a fairly doable situation into a tricky retake. Yes, Freiburg, he's got the defuse kit. But with Exist a million miles away, needing to get himself up towards the vents, becomes a lot more difficult once again. And how does he burst through here? Yes, they have the crossfire in place. Freiburg's obviously trying to run distraction, and I think that's been telegraphed all too easily. Exist peeks right into this one. FORZE are hyper aware, and now Freiburg needs to come together with something incredibly special. They're now going to double face, and there's the pistols just coming to town for FORZE.
Well, certainly a messy round at the start. I liked that aggression from FORZE to actually charge down that ramp player that was trying to fall back, but it meant that they pushed themselves quite far out of position. It meant that what should have been a very swift push down ramp, get onto the B site quickly, actually ended up being a bit of a slog, and they had to rework what they were going to do and actually headed up over towards that A site. But right at the end, they close it out nicely. They put that very important pistol round on the board and level things out 8-8. They now have a huge firepower advantage as Dignitas are just down to this eco. And they are going to use and abuse it as they head down towards this B site early.
Nice opening kill, and I've got no idea why FaceCrack is so isolated there. FORZE need to tighten up this T-sided setup, and what a triple kill! Headshot after headshot. Freiburg rolls back the years again, and that might just put Dignitas in the lead once more. Gives them a real opportunity in the 17th, and now the AK-47s need to come to task. A whiffed shot, but an opportunity at a follow-up also missed. And now Dignitas have to be incredibly careful. This Deagle doesn't connect. All of the building blocks are falling apart, and all of that hard work from Freiburg initially hasn't quite gone to waste. but it definitely could do with one more mistake from the Swedes. Get right exist. That brainy combination with a pair of CZ75s in hand. And Flit pretty much has the perfect angle against exist here. I guess he's not going to spot him right off the bat. Has to drop down. Maybe the audio cue's given and granted, but with Get Right also falling and a bit of a crossfire established, that's a smoke grenade exist. He's going to pry right outside and he's got no idea where Flit's playing from. He's at a massive disadvantage right now. Flit actually making a lot of noise, stomping his way down to the A site, and exist gets caught through that smoke. That's lovely stuff.
Wow, that was incredible from Fireberg, and we get to see it again. You're right in questioning why FaceCrack was so isolated. There was no trade potential there, and then as soon as they swing out to find it, ready, bang, bang, two crisp headshots. That is incredible.
That is scary. Scary stuff, and considering he's able to do that, Dignitas don't even win the round. That's definitely a problem maker on this second side. That's an opportunity back in for the Swedes. And once more, this time should be a complete chop away. Freiburg at least pitches in some more damage. What else would we expect? But 10 from FORZE here, double digits.
Well, this is where it can become dangerous for Dignitas. This is the buy up from them. If they convert it, they pull their way back into this, they can start to find their footing on their CT side. If they can't, then FORZE, they become dangerous. They certainly get close to that number 16. The Dignitas economy will be in pieces, and on that CT side, it can be quite difficult to manage that economy as well, especially on a map like Nuke, which can be quite utility heavy. And, well, FORZE just go for some real fast aggression out of the squeaky door, and it gets shut down for now. Forest finding two openers. That's the bomb down as well. I don't think FORZE have a whole lot of chance back into this one. However, this was a bonus for them. They had the Mac 10s in hand still, and they will have the money to invest into the next nonetheless.
This is just about as bad as it gets for a terrorist side. Bomb isolated and Forest firing through for 3. Quick kills. Just leaves the doublet of AK-47s left to boot. And Forest is still alive on plenty of health. And FORZE want to negotiate their way into this aim bomb site from elsewhere. Flit to try and do the damage from heaven. It's obviously being watched by an up-close and personal AWP from Halzerk. And he gets a nasty surprise. Good night.
Ooh. Jerry gives Forest a taste of his own medicine with a couple of shots firing through that smoke. Still a 1 versus 4 on his hands, though. 40 seconds on this clock. I'm not sure if he wants to die here because he has got money behind him to invest, obviously. And if he saves this AK, he could probably drop it over to Almeza and they could seriously have a full investment going into the next round. He's not falling off this, though. He actually wants to punch in some more damage to his opponents. He wants to make this costly for them. Doesn't want 4 surviving. As he walks out a squeaky, he might have just signed his death warrant here. Got the angle onto Fireberg, but he realizes that he's all pincered in, and as soon as Dignitas spot him out, that's going to be exist to swing. 9 on the board for Dignitas, an opportunity for them to level things out here if they can win this secondary buy-up from FORZE.
Freiburg is just the perfect bait right there. Just the worm at the end of the fishing rod. He knows that there's no point in peeking. His teammates absolutely have him covered. And they play that to a T to keep 4 alive. That's going to get the economy rolling in a little fashion, I guess. A couple of thousand per player. Exists the only man to drop with no reserve cash. And realistically, the AWP doesn't connect on the offset.
What's a shame about this right now is the fact that Almaz is just down to that deagle. So had that AK been saved in the last, he would have a rifle to work with right now. I like this angle from Halzerk. He can't connect the initial shot, can't connect the second either. He's whiffed a couple this round. That one was certainly the harder of the two. Nonetheless.
Just put yourself in C-Power's place. If you were an AWP on this T side, would you really just be bunny hopping around that red box? It's such a ballsy thing to do, and the fact that he doesn't get punished just shows how confident he is, and it's not delusion by any means. He gets away with it.
Yeah, time and time again, he is just such a hyper-aggressive player, and he will toy with you. He knows his potential, and he knows what he's capable of, and he pulls it off time and time again. Currently, the man advantage lying with FORZE as they push on to this A site. Existor's got a nice angle, but it's hard clear. They'd already used the Molotovs to clear out the other angles that he could have been hiding in. They knew exactly where he was, and they're just chiming through with these kills. There's no chance for Dignitas here. Forest and Get Right almost certainly go for this save, but FORZE are already on the hunt. They've been on the hunt since the start of the round. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get away with these rifles.
I mean, this is starting to look scary for Dignitas. They're not putting together the building blocks of a really sturdy CT side. And when you break into the statistics, they usually do. 61.5% CT round win rate. On the T side, it's just under 50%. Those are pretty standard statistics, showing that they're no strangers to rolling up the rounds on that defensive half. They took an acceptable number of T-sides, M&J, so it's time to close perhaps, but this is going to be a final buy for them before the eco is forced. Saving that AK is incredibly impactful. With FORZE all over the map, I'm actually surprised that Get Right gets away with it. But 11-9 and an opportunity to force Dignitas back to breaking point for FORZE. What's it going to be? Speed once again, perhaps? See, Squeaky Door initially broken. There's all of the Molotovs out and through, and finally the retorting nades for Dignitas. The smoke goes through as well. FORZE held at an arm's length as Freiburg wants to hold the angles.
Well, it certainly looked like they were going to go for some fast aggression when they blew that door off, Molotov in hand. You think, right, they're going to charge in, maybe go for a vent dive here on one or two of these players. Instead, the smokes come in and they just slow it down. And I like that from FORZE. Instead of saying, right, let's just charge through these smokes and let's commit anyway, they say, right, they've responded to it. Let's just slow this one down. We've got plenty of time on the clock. We know what we're doing. We know that we're better than these guys. Let's just show it to him. Forest right now has got a nice angle in secret, but it's absolutely being anticipated, and that Molotov's actually going to force him off of it. FORZE are slowly taking a lot of control here outside. Holzerk's in a very, very nasty position to deal with, though.
Yeah, this is really tough to clear. Sometimes a garage smoke can do the job, but realistically, he's going to be right behind you if you try and go for that pincer into the A bomb site, at least doing damage and diverting your attention for the second man to become more and more impactful. And already finding the kills, 2 quick frags. Facecrack also eliminated, and Halzerk has absolutely done his job right now. FORZE shut away from this outside area, makes it a more polarized, single-pronged attack, and they still have to deal with Halzerk if they're going to take any mini control. Yes, they're rotating inwards, but double man inside of Hut, and this is just not being predicted. Even with Freiburg gone, there's a second man at the ready, and that is just beautiful play from Dignitas. Up to 10. Yes, Flitz survives, but FORZE in a bit of a tricky spot right now. They will get the buyout, but this is where Dignitas need to hold again. This is so back and forth, Jay. So back and forth.
It absolutely is. This one shaping up to be a more exciting semi-final than the first, and FORZE once again calling a tactical timeout. Now's a good time for one. This is a turning point. This could be one of those swing rounds that we talk about. If they lose it, Dignitas get back into the driver's seat. And on this CT side of Nuke, you don't want to be allowing your opponents to get into this position. It's something that we didn't see last round, but this round I think it might come into play. It's certainly come into play in previous rounds. When you look at this FORZE side, right, they have about a 70% win conversion once they find that opening pick. Now, that's pretty standard for most teams. It's normally around that 65 to 75% conversion rate after finding that opening pick. But when you have a player like C-Power, who's so dynamic and so aggressive with that AWP, constantly trying to find that first man, it can be so powerful, because even if he only finds 1 kill in the round, if that kill is the one to give you that man advantage and that 70% conversion rate, then he's had a huge impact. And that's what he does time and time again for this side.
11 to 10, and the scoreline almost as close as it can possibly be. This time, they don't have that prompt from Halzuk in behind. Instead, he's able to take one from the brunt of outside. FaceCrack with nobody as the supporting factor means that FaceCrack just gets away with it. Halzuk does survive, and Dignitas still alive with 5. Halzuk now playing a more headshot angle. This is very tricky to deal with. It's actually quite disguised with the player model. It's quite hard to actually see and decipher where he's playing from. And that's exactly why Flit doesn't even spot him. That's a second kill.
FORZE are just getting picked apart now. Dignitas, they are certainly looking scary here on this CT side. If they can keep these players alive as well, it certainly adds insult to injury, makes them even scarier. FORZE are heading over towards ramp. Still a part of the map that has been fairly unutilized so far, this map. This time it's 3 of them stacking up to take it. So far, they actually go uncontested. Get Right is going to walk his way around. He's going to hear the sound cues, and he gets his head whipped clean off. Wow, that was a beautiful shot from Almeza.
That was a little slow from Get Right, I must say. 15 seconds, and Freiburg has just a beautiful angle. It's the MP9 to practically finish off the round. There's no chance for C-Power, and there's a good chance that Freiburg even finds him here. He's trying to push on through, and with 1 second left, Freiburg's actually waiting for the clock to go. It's expired. C-Power needs to survive, and what a shot! That's beautiful. 11 to 11 nonetheless, but that AWP does finally cling on. Look at Freiburg. He does get a little bit antsy here, I must admit, wanting to take C-Power down after time. That's a little bit BM. But there's it's not in Freiburg's mind that C-Power hits the second shot as well. That's why you don't play with your food.
Absolutely, that is incredible. As soon as Freiburg finds those initial 2 kills, C-Power's task from winning the round changes to just surviving. And he pulls off an absolute masterclass to do so. This time he needs to be the opener, the playmaker with this AWP. He's the only man with an investment here. He's actually managed to cross mid with no smokes, but there we go. FORZE finds that kill. The AWP will be retrieved, but Dignitas are handling this round very, very well.
Yeah, this is a done deal in round number 23. Should be no opportunity unless FaceCrack does something sensational, and missing that first shot seals his fate. Dignitas easily with 12 here, and it's Halzuk providing the heavy numbers outside, just consistently finding 1, 2, even 3 kills. Even against pistols, it's that consistency factor which is keeping Dignitas not just in the game, but now in the lead. 12 to 11, and an opportunity to assert even more control over this CT side. And FORZE, they might have even used all their tactical timeouts. I think they do have 1 or 2 left. But where's the change of pace coming from? They're doing the same thing time and time again. Ramp didn't work out for them. And this level of consistency from Halzuk is just beautiful to see. You could put together a nice little highlight reel to show, if you're playing at home, how to play this outside garage area. It's all about not being too overcommitted, just finding those easy shots when they come, when they present themselves, take your opportunities. And he doesn't seem to be missing all too much. Now he's got the AWP and a good chance to take even more.
Something else that he does in that position as well, which he does incredibly, is not being predictable. It's so important when you're holding outside that you're not peeking the same angle every round, because as soon as your opponent has an AWP and they're peeking up on silo, or even if they're just peeking behind the box, if you're playing the same angle every round, they're gonna fire it off straight away. An AWP of C-Power's caliber, or any of these riflers, will certainly punish you for it. But round after round, Halzuk, he's playing deep in CT. Sometimes he'll jam himself right at the back of garage. Sometimes he's just dancing around, and he's a bit of everywhere. It makes it very, very difficult to play against, and very difficult to predict as well. Right now, Dignitas in the lead for the first time in a little while. And FORZE, this is a big round for them. If they can't win this, then it comes dangerously close to number 16 for Dignitas.
Could call this a must-win round for FORZE. Looking to try and level the playing field here at 12 to 11. Just one round shy of tying this up once again. Lovely angle from Halzerk. You can see that he's just abusing his opponents, using all of these really just introverted setups right through that tiny gap through Squeaky Door. And there's nothing that FORZE can do about it. Even if you're expecting that angle to be posted, maybe at times you're expected the Squeaky Door to be pushed right off. And this is the unpredictability factor that we talked about a little earlier. Changing up that angle beautifully. Unable to connect with the second shot, but he gives it a good go. And FORZE just don't know where to look right now. Flip being posted outside, peppered with bullets, and with 25 seconds left, Dignitas have not moved a muscle off of this A bomb site. Freiburg still tucked inside this corner. There's no Molotov to force him out. How the hell are FORZE going to get onto this bomb site? Just don't imagine or anticipate it happening. This has to be something massive, and York misses the one crucial key bullet, and FaceCrack, with a couple of kills, doesn't have the bomb in sight.
No time on this clock. He will be able to retrieve the orb. He's got to be careful to hold on to it. Exist. Oh my, that was very, very close. If FaceCrack dies after time there, it's a lot of problems. A couple of really nice headshots here from FaceCrack, but it's just too little too late. No time left on that clock. And once again, we see from Halzerk, of course, he doesn't connect that second shot, but he hits that shot on the Squeaky Door. Now, you got to think about FORZE's comms right here. They say, right, as an AWP in A main, right, that's where he is. And then he jumps right down vent, goes wraps all the way around the back in a matter of seconds, and instantly it's like, wow, now he's in secret. What the hell? Like, within 4 or 5 seconds of that original call, he's already miles away, and he's taking engagements elsewhere. Once again, he finds that opener outside. He has been absolutely flawless so far this map, and Dignitas now in a firm position to take this one.
This is not the smartest of angles to be holding. Does spot the jump peak, which is a little fortunate, but there's the headshot from FaceCrack by name and reputation. Still 70 seconds on the board, so opportunities for FORZE, especially if Dignitas makes mistakes against the AWP. Now it's down to Forest. He's been spotted, and as the sniper wraps on through, Forest has to be very careful about this one. This is a lovely angle. Yes, he's been seen once more, and there's the deagle to sweep him out of the server. Now a 3 versus 2. FORZE keeping this man advantage from the bitter to the end. The AWP could connect on to get right. Clutchmaster has come in again and they're lining up for him. Jerry's eliminated and FaceCrack, all the nade sails in, doesn't connect. Get right wants to rotate and wrap elsewhere. This should be an easy call to go towards the A bomb site, but both players rotating. Get right upwards, FaceCrack downwards. And is the audio cues going to be enough for Get Right to know where this was coming through from? He still thinks it's the A bomb site. Oh, this is tragic. He's not gone for the wrap or the rotate downwards. And surely he should now finally realize this one. Obviously, it's a 1 versus 1. He knows exactly where FaceCrack's playing from. Now the afterplant established. And Get Right needs to negotiate his way into a better position. Already finding 2 kills. But with the bomb still fairly far ticked, it's almost half exploded. He needs to get back onto B, and FaceCrack quickly exposes with the AWP as well. Get Right. Just gonna tap this bomb, maybe even holding it, but here comes the Tech 9 to finish him. 12-13. That's a beautiful combination from FaceCrack and a bit of a goof from Get Right. Going up towards the A bomb site's a bit of a mistake. Misread the audio cues. They are really difficult on Nuke, to say the least. That A and B bomb site, it's quite hard to decipher those footsteps, but should be able to do it most of the time.
That is an incredible round for FORZE to convert. A 4K coming through from FaceCrack. Just the hero AWP. That's all they had to work with pistols around it. They managed to get the work done. A few mistakes here and there from Dignitas cost them. And what should have been 14-11 right now sits 12-13. FORZE with the firepower advantage. Dignitas on the verge of their economy being completely broken. This is a very important round for them to convert if they don't want to lose control here. And Get Right opening things up with a very nice headshot through that smoke.
Smoke's down in a way. Halzerk's position becomes a little tougher to hold as he wants to just rotate his way in, knowing that there could be an opportunity to get caught out from Silo. He is looking towards that side of the map, but with the smokes placed, shouldn't be able to see too much here. FORZE just slide downstairs, and Dignitas need to rely on this information early from Freiburg. Just jumping to catch his head on that door to make sure that he's not fully exposed means that there's no chance that FORZE hit this shot here. The boost does give him a slight chance, but well, there's the opportunity. Lovely flashbang through to do tons of damage. And back onto the B bomb site once again, and there's the surprising factor. Freiburg, oh, he plays his doors perfectly. Gets maximum damage out of that one and allows the rotates on through. They have no idea that Get Right's here. And all three of the defenders picking up kill after kill as Get Right closes. 14-12, and Dignitas are putting on quite the show for the CT side.
They absolutely are. These closing rounds have been incredibly back and forth. Dignitas didn't have a lot to work with there. They managed to give FORZE a taste of their own medicine. Convert a must-win round. They now sit on 14. One away from map point, and FORZE have actually gone for the investment. Another hero AWP on C-Power. Pistols and MAC-10s on the others. C-Power has to go huge here. We know that he's absolutely capable of doing so. Oh, Horzerk once again on this angle, not able to find himself anything so far in mid. Actually, FORZE are taking a lot of early control just with these aggressive stances.
Stairs for face crack and an angle posted for Get Right. Doesn't want to overextend himself, instead trying to bait the tease into the AWP of course, Horzerk. This is a nice angle, not being hard checked, and Forest triple headshots. Only you'd expect it from him. C-Power does finally take him away. Now planting the bomb towards the B bomb site, but doesn't even get the opportunity to go down. Once more, Dignitas trailblaze into the B bomb site. It's so disgusting here. And face crack, he's just going to go down. 15-12. Dignitas look unstoppable on this CT side.
They absolutely do. We see it again here from Forest. Look at that. FORZE are actually kind of jump around that corner and soft check it, but they don't hard clear it. And that's what you need to be doing. When you've walked into ramp and it's completely uncontested, you have to expect there to be a CT somewhere hiding in one of these corners behind one of these boxes. Instead, they're a little bit too blasé. They overlook it and they get punished perfectly. Forest now sitting 22 frags, Freiburg on 23. Everyone on this Dignitas side actually stepping up and putting up some big numbers here. And FORZE, look at this buy. This is to contest the map. And they have got nothing to work with here.
This has been a dirty T side for FORZE. Unable to put together the building blocks of a good attacking half, and Dignitas really have been ultimately consistent, especially over towards this A bomb site, which seems to be the tactic once again. There go the nades. They sail down and through. FORZE get quite nicely out here, but Freiburg holds down the angle. Tons of damage dealt. His Zist almost burns alive. Dignitas have every member on this A bomb site. It's a shutdown. 16-12. Man, that is quite the map from Dignitas. And considering this was a 2-0 last time from FORZE, that is, yeah, quite the performance. Really, really decisive stuff, especially when they went over to CT.
Absolutely, yeah. You see it finishing off as an 8-7 half, and that's actually a really, really good half from Dignitas on that T side. But you don't really think of them all too much. You think, yeah, no, okay, FORZE, they're still the favourites going into this one. An 8-7 half, like, isn't the best. Like, it's not anything crazy from Dignitas, especially going into that second half as well. FORZE are taking those opening rounds, extending that lead a little bit further, and you think, yeah, okay, they've got a good opportunity here. But then Dignitas, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was off the back of one of those timeouts, but all of a sudden they just switched on. They were winning all of their aim duels. Their positioning was absolutely fantastic as well, and they just grabbed the reins and they were in full control for the rest of that map, closing it out very, very convincingly.
One map down, and Dignitas They're just one map to go for the grand final before they can finally face off against Mad Lions. That'll be quite the challenge. Let's see if they can do it next. We're going to Inferno to potentially finish off this series after the break.
Nice shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Woo, damn! That was one of the best tickle fights I've been to.
Welcome back, everybody. It's your daily dose of Malta vibes here on Eden Arena. Eden Esports Twitch going live with their second semi-final right now between FORZE and Dignitas. What a stunning first map by the veterans earlier on, Nuke. That is some stunning stuff, certainly. Taking the win, and now we're on to the fiery territory of Inferno. It's, of course, FORZE's map pick, and I'm going to throw over to you, Jay. What do you think about this one?
Oh, well, I think this is an interesting one because Dignitas kind of outdid expectations a little bit there on Nuke in my mind. I think they played fantastically. We talked about initially the potential of this Dignitas side and the fact that they have tons of potential and it's just unlocked. It's just not unlocked. But we saw glimmers of it there. We actually saw glimmers of some of these players back in their heyday where they were finding these incredible multi-kills that get us screaming. And we saw a couple of those there, especially, I mean, the one that sticks in my mind is that crazy Deagle play from Freiburg. If they can continue to do that, then there's definitely potential for them to take this second map. The issue they face is they're going on to Inferno. It's FORZE's home map. They have an incredible win percentage on it. They've played it 40 times in the last 3 months, Squid. I have never seen a team play a single map 40 times in 3 months. They have won it 28 of those 40 times as well. I just don't see Dignitas coming into this one and actually converting the second map. I think they've got a chance to do it in the third, but I'm not sure with this one.
Yeah, lots of teams seem to have their home maps. A lot of teams have permabans, and Inferno is practically never one of them. Either way, we're getting into this knife round sooner rather than later in this second semi-final. Let's get into it right now here on Inferno. This is map number 2 to quench your thirst here between Dignitas and FORZE. Let's find our second grand finalists here, M&J. We've already discovered Mad Lions. They've got through to the grand final just in really convincing performances as well. Just back-to-back huge series wins against both Espada and yesterday against MIBR as well. They've been playing some great CS. I think it's going to be a really big challenge for the winner of these two teams to face Mad Lions later today in the grand final. And realistically, I do not envy either squad who has to face off against the Danish behemoths in this tournament. Nevertheless, it's FORZE CT side to start here on Inferno.
Dignitas absolutely have to be at their best here on Inferno if they want to take this one 2-0. And well, our partners over at LootBet certainly agree. They're putting FORZE as the firm favourites in this one. Interestingly, they had them as the favourites at the start of the last game as well. But Dignitas here, well, this is unknown territory a little bit for them, and it's home ground for FORZE. A nice bit of aggression early on to head into Banana. They find this opening pick. They actually find themselves 2 to get up Banana here, and this is an opportunity for them to get onto this B site. They just have to deal with face crack.
This is a good opportunity if they can wean out this final man, but the combination with Flit leaves Forest looking for impossibilities on the B-bomb site. 1-0 and a lovely combination from FORZE. I always talk about those rotates over towards B. You need the rotate on the arch side to be nice and prompt. It absolutely was right there, and Flit is the man with the plan on those wraps and rotates over. Guarantees that first round. Just too many members to deal with over on B for Forest. And Dignitas now stuck in the mud looking for the force by victory here. The chicken assassin right there. Wanting some fried chicken. I wouldn't mind some as well.
Squid. I hate it when people kill the chickens. It's sad. I like collecting them. That's my role in a team. Yeah, you can go around and press E and they follow you.
Is that true? I never knew this.
Know that? Yeah, you can go up to a chicken and press E on it, and then they follow you, and you can like collect them and walk around, and you have a little horde of chickens following you.
Chat, is he trolling me? Because I feel like I would have heard about this if that was actually genuine. Maybe you're just collecting loads of false positives. You can press E on a chicken and it follows you. I've played the game for like 7,000 hours, and I've never even accidentally discovered this.
I promise it's true. Chat, back me up. I absolutely promise it's true.
If at least 20 people in the chat don't back you up, I'm going to call it fake news. Are you CNN?
No, I am not. Being
Wow.
honest with you, so these deagles, wow.
That is impressive. 3 quick kills. I think one of them was actually a TK though. So maybe not as impressive as the yellow at the top of the table suggests. And Halzerk, I don't think he's going to be able to get the bomb down in this scenario. 1-to-1 did look ideal for just a second, but yeah, take your foot off the accelerator. It's face crack to finish.
You know what certainly was impressive that I wouldn't mind seeing again? Those 2 headshots through the smoke. Is that what we're going to get here? Yeah, we are. Look at this from C-Power. Lands one there, and then look at this read. It just goes bang. Headshot straight through the smoke onto Get Right. That is incredible.
That's a little dinker.
Very, very nice stuff to recover a round that almost went, some would say, the wrong way. FORZE are now 2 ahead. Dignitas on this eco, and well, they should just be able to have a clean round here. They actually go for quite a lot of aggression with these MP9s to just get this one done. And it's C-Power to open things up. Should find the second one to Get Right as well, and there we go.
Nice little conversion against the unarmored pistols. The objective, to rack up as much money as possible without dropping any of these SMGs, perhaps. And it is a flawless finish for FORZE. 3-0. And now we'll see the money start to build with negligible damage dealt in the first 3 rounds. Realistically, you see that money starting to build now. The opportunity for back-to-back by C-Power is almost at $10,000. This is really scary already. Wow,
really
the chat says it's true. The chickens, it's true.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it in the world. Who's been keeping this secret from me?
Clearly you haven't tried it. Like, I don't know, the day I discovered, I think I was just saying hi to a chicken. Press D on it.
Chicken's my favorite meat.
No, I like collecting them. That's my role in a team squid. I can't bring a whole lot else to the table.
Well, FORZE don't really bring too much to the table here in this 4th. It's a bit of a bonus considering 4 MP9s lie in wait for this attack. If FORZE take it, they're overwhelmingly ahead already on this map, just in terms of the economy.
Well, allowing C-Power to get this much money early on is very, very dangerous because obviously he's the man that's going to be buying up that AWP, and you've essentially just guaranteed him 2 back-to-back AWPs. So even if you convert this round, he's going to have an AWP in the next. You convert that one, he'll probably have enough money as well, unless he drops a teammate or something like that, to go for another AWP buy. You really set him up. Right now, this is an important round for them to win. Just against the SMGs, and, well, Flit's the man to find the first. No trade potential there either, as he's got the support player to watch his flank.
Well, that's a problem maker. Jerry might be another as he doesn't get checked. Freiburg's a little too late to the party there, connecting the headshot oh so late. And the AK connects for a second time. Considering this was 4 MP9s carried through, an exceptionally weak performance from Dignitas as they go down 4-0. Nice attempt by Halzerk, but no bomb away. Means Dignitas are stuck in the dumpster again without any money to go for the force buy.
C-Power, he's still alive. He hasn't died yet. He's 7-0. Yorp's going to come out. He had 13k before that investment. And Dignitas, as you say, just down to these pistols once again. FORZE are certainly looking more at home here on Inferno. Taking this nice early lead. Yeah, Dignitas really aren't coming in with a lot here.
People have really taken my chicken comments to heart.
In what way?
They just think I'm really bad for not knowing that you can have a chicken follow you around. I feel like I've let the Counter-Strike community down.
It's a really important part of the game, Squid. Really important. Often utilized at pro level.
It would be a funky bait, but this instead, it's just the pistols rolling on through, rampaging onto those pair of defenders. And this is actually quite a decent afterplant setup. Yeah, Jerry's there to catch one, But FORZE are being held at an arm's length away from this A-bomb site. I don't think C-Power's going to catch too much with that AWP. And realistically, I don't think they want to give away these 3 rifles on the CT side. Despite their money being bolstered up, there's no point throwing it down the toilet for no reason. A great round from Dignitas. It's 1 on the board. This works wonders for their economy. Of course, 2 rifles retrieved. And the opportunity to get it rocking and rolling. What a long-range headshot from Get Right. That's beautiful.
Ooh. Our Mazer does actually manage to retrieve that orb, so it will come into the next, be dropped back over to C-Power. But that is an incredible headshot, an incredible damage there from Dignitas. Despite the fact that FORZE obviously salvaged the AWP right at the end, it does mean that that's another M4 that has to be reinvested. Another, including the Kevlar and a little bit of utility that he had, probably $5,500 that needs to be spent on that CT side. It works out being very, very expensive at just the expense of a single bullet from that Tech 9. Right now, Dignitas, that's their opportunity, isn't it? That might just be their ticket back into this one, their chance to close this early gap.
They are gunning for this opening frag against C-Power. Quite a powerful angle at the top of Banana. How long does he stick around before bailing backwards? The flashbang's going to secure his fate. And not a single frag until the flick comes to fruition. Freiburg eliminated.
Wow. A lot of damage done early on from that utility. Jerry's playing incredibly close to this smoke. Almost gets spammed away. There's 3 CTs over towards Banana. This is something you don't see all too often. You normally see maybe 3 players go there early on. They'll throw a few grenades, they'll contest the control, and then one rotates off. But Almazer seems to have stayed for a very, very long time. And now this rotation's going to be late. The utility's raining in on A, and it's just Flit and Face Crack to hold on to it. The M4s have to come through, and Exist finds the opener. Flit, the lone man on the site, has to try and hold on to this, and it's not going to happen. Forrest rips his head clean off. Now the man advantage and the site gain for Dignitas, and this is just going to be another save call for FORZE.
That's the best bet for them at this point. That A-bomb site is really tough and tricky to retake on Inferno. A second for Dignitas, but they won't force up the eco in this next, considering 3 rifles to boot, a little bit of bonus cash for C-Power to drop over another M4. Almazer's also got enough to drop away another rifle. So all 5 should be carried into round number 7. That's the upcoming opportunity. But Dignitas are also starting to bolster this buy as well. 4 alive at the end of this one. Should mean quite a lot for this eco. And realistically, they won't be hunting too aggressively to find these final 3 rifles. Just allowing FORZE to save. They have to now do it again against the rifles.
Well, they've done very, very well there to convert that one. And as you say, once they take the sites, it becomes very difficult to retake, because if you're somewhat already in position, then it's very doable, especially on that A site of Inferno. You've got multiple avenues, but the issue is that the rotations are so long that once Dignitas are on that site and they've got the bomb down, you have to rotate all the way around. You have no idea whether there's actually a team waiting in apartments to shut you down. You have no idea if they've got a crossfire in brackets or they've got someone in library, and therefore you just can't afford to push in, especially when you haven't got the utility to clear those positions. It makes the retake almost impossible, and the save certainly the option to go for. Here in number 7, a full investment from both sides. But Dignitas now have the momentum to work with.
Split time does convert 1 and 2. That's good enough. Finally falls. You're only really expecting 1 and done from that position, but he doubles down on the damage, and now makes this retake incredibly viable for FORZE. Obviously not going to push through those preliminary smokes. They do get replaced. A flashbang as well to delay proceedings. That's a really awkward after plan for Forrest. Needs to get into a better position here. There go away the smokes to block off I guess the graveyard angle. There's nobody playing in this safe space for Dignitas, just holding on this A bomb site and waiting for the forces to come through. FORZE letting the clock tick incredibly low, and there's a snappy headshot to get us started. Jerry right down in his face, and Get Right's able to convert another 2. Low HP on the AWP as Halsuk just needs to stay alive, as Get Right is doing everything back to the Tech 9. This bomb's definitely going to explode as the pistol finishes off Almeza. Everybody goes up in flames, but that's a third more importantly for Dignitas, and they finally break this economy. It's a long time coming, but no buy over in number 8. I almost felt like it was good enough as Flip finds the first 2, but the retake just executed too late, and it doesn't push it over the top. Dignitas back to winning ways.
Wow, if you did just catch that on the screen, make sure if you do head over to Hellcase that you're using code MALTAV15 for a 15% refill bonus when you top up. Looking back at that last round, though, you're absolutely right. That was very much looking like that retake could come through. They just left it a little bit too late, and it all fell onto the shoulders of Get Right, and he came through perfectly. It was actually FORZE to miss a couple of those opening AWP shots that, had he have hit, he would have been the man to tip it over the edge. But as soon as he misses that shot, there's then an opportunity for FORZE to swarm him, find that kill and get that defuse in. But Get Right supports his teammate, makes sure that he stays alive, pulls the attention elsewhere, and runs down that clock further. Dignitas then take that third round. They still have to face up against a buy, though. FORZE have actually been saving in so many of these rounds, and they've had money to work with as well. But once again, the force is here, and FORZE just isn't quick enough to catch out that AWPer.
That was very slow. Big opportunity whiffed. Back to the chickens. I've got a question. If they can make a chicken follow you, why can't you press E on a bot and drop an AK or get the bot to follow you? Like, you have to go into the radio commands. You should just be able to just gesture, just wave at him. Like, Flit should get this chicken out of the way. Like, come on, press E on him. I want to see it.
Oh, the chicken might be able to provide.
I almost feel like I'm being trolled by 10,000 people. I
promise you're not. Give it a go. We'll play a game after this. You can give it a go. Run around, collect some chickens.
Like a little mini game. Almeza, nice little angle for the first, and actually wants to gun in for even more. Spots 3 and now wants to backtrack and allow the AWP to come through as a retaliation and response. C-Power, nice angle. Wants the responsive shot. I don't think he spotted the gun barrel there. Nonetheless, they pretty much know where Dignitas are playing from. Flit is right in behind, and this is a really decent setup from FORZE. Instantly eviscerated by Get Right, but they need so many more headshots, and there's the fast flank to eviscerate the push. Exist. Nice little connection. The nade actually does give away Face Crack's position, but the bomb doesn't go down, and there's only a couple of seconds on the board. Forest, he needs to now plant all the way out in the open and potentially force out this shot, and he doesn't connect. It's C-Power instead to bring FORZE onto 5.
FORZE seemed to think that C-Power was actually in pool there. He wasn't watching short, and that is really unfortunate. That comes incredibly close, but the smokes just fade at the wrong moment, and that bomb can't go down to buy them a little bit more time. FORZE then firmly back in the lead. The buy from Dignitas isn't too great. A MAC-10 and a UMP, a few AKs to work with. Not a lot better on this CT side, though. Both teams' economies actually aren't too great here.
Straight in with the Molotovs to start. That's going to temporarily slow the Swedes away from the B bomb site, but FORZE once again nicely stacked up. The flower pot boost in effect. This is very powerful if left unchecked, and nobody's watching it. It's going to allow the MP9 to poach through for 1 and 2. Lots of damage dealt, and Dignitas back in the dumpster before the bomb goes down on the B bomb site. Jerry misses to spray away. A tiny tickle of damage onto Freiburg, but it's not good enough. The retake should be done. Nevertheless, 4 versus 2, Get Right with the angle. He needs to connect with something sensational here. And while there's a clean opening kill, Jerry had nobody on the defense. Get right with another one. They should know that he's playing right behind these coffins. And Get right, the clutch master himself. Yes, there's not too much time on this bomb away. And there's a headshot. The defuse, it's not happening. Get right now with an opportunity. It's the fake flash. The peek comes in. And C-Power, I don't think he's got enough time. Maybe in 1 second. Yes, he does. That's 6. They cut it so close.
It's C-Power again as well to clutch it up. He's actually died once this game. Once. It's round 10. He's died once. He's 12-1. He's either been saving or he's been clutching. I think he's the bank right now as well. You'd expect him to have more money here, so I think he's been dropping a load. Oh, is this a timeout? This looks like a timeout.
This might be one of those impromptu existence timeouts. I like that from C-Power nonetheless. 1 kill. That's why chat calls him Sex Power. He's full of stamina.
I've never heard that before, but I like that. I'm not going to start using it myself, but I like that. Right, back to the chickens.
That's a one and done phrase. Okay, chicken time.
Chickens. It's the last time I'm going to mention the chickens, but there's one more fun fact that you need to know because I've just remembered that it's a thing. So once you press E on a chicken and he starts following you, he becomes your chicken. Yeah. And if someone kills your chicken, it comes up red in the chat saying somebody killed your chicken, or actually I think it says the name of the person. It says so and so killed your chicken. They were yours for, and then the amount of seconds that you had the chicken for, it's like 105 seconds or something, depending on how long.
A chicken, CSGO. How to make a chicken follow you in CSGO. There's a whole little
There's a video
tutorial for this. There's a tutorial. It's a written tutorial. Like the observers get involved in everything. This is just bullying at this point. It even tells you the maps that contain chickens. It's Italy, Militia, Inferno, and Cobblestone. At this time of writing, this tutorial was written in. Well, it doesn't actually say the date. Oh, maybe it does. Posted 30th of April 2016. This has been in the game forever.
Yeah, see.
Where have I been? Have I just been living under the little rock in Cobblestone or something?
Maybe. I think they introduced it after Halloween. They brought in Halloween chickens and they made it so you could press E on them to follow them. So Halloween 2016, I think.
Ridiculous. Well, there is a poll going in the Twitch chat. Can FORZE take second map? I think I know what the majority of the viewers are going to say to that one. I say yes.
Yeah, I think so too. Obviously, they have a fantastic record here on Inferno, and they're looking fantastic on it as well. My only fear is if C-Power kind of takes his foot off the gas a little, are FORZE going to be able to actually pick it up in his absence, because he's the one that's putting up incredible numbers right now, and he's the one that's actually converting many of these rounds when it comes down to these final 1v1, 2v1 situations. If he does have a bit of a hiccup and stops putting up the numbers that he has been, are they going to be able to accommodate, make up for that?
Here we go. Not a very telegraphed push. And Dignitas should be able to slip their way into this A bomb site unbeknownst to this quick quad position from Flit. He needs to respond quite nicely. And that smoke's actually a really good way to bail him out of trouble and isolate the single angle. It means that Dignitas, that they have to worry about all 3 players on this initial prod. And if they don't find these shots, then it gets very touch and go. That's an all-important trade, as Exist might get caught from the fast flank. There's the MP9 to poach on in. And how do they get towards this A bomb site without finding any kills? Well, Freiburg posts in with another, and down to 30 seconds, another 3 versus 3 that FORZE they'll surely go for. Yes, they've got C-Power's AWP in contention, but with Forest burrowed inside the safety of the pit, Almeida's able to take his face clean off. That's the legend gone, and Get Right is very exposed right now. He has to connect with something sensational. His crosshair was right on the AWP, but unable to find the connection. It's damage, but no frags, leaving Freiburg a 1 versus 3. It's undoable. 8-3.
That became incredibly close once again, but C-Power surviving on 3 HP. He's still only died once. And FORZE now on 8. This is shaping up to be a fantastic half from them. I think Jerry just pressed E on the chicken. I think he just pressed E on him. That's what noise they make. Yeah,
all right, Observer, go to Jerry, please. Let's follow him. Let's see it, Jerry. No way. No, he didn't do it.
Oh, maybe
It's
not.
Fake. I'm going to put my proper tinfoil hat on. I think this is a conspiracy theory. I don't know how I could have played the game for like 7,000 hours and not realized this ever. Somebody with one of these players on their friends lists need to tell them to press E on a chicken, please. Do we disrupt the whole series for this? That's the big question. How far do we go?
This is only for you. This is purely for Squid educational purposes. Everyone else is fully aware.
Do I message Get Right on like Facebook and ask him, please press E on a chicken? I need to see it. Just don't think so. These chickens seem to be also toying with me. I've got to be honest. Like that one especially. That's a lovely angle from Forrest. I really, really enjoy watching that.
Jerry, though, a very dangerous position. That flash isn't going to catch him off. I like his discipline, though. He could have swung out there and probably got a free kill, but it would have got traded. Instead, he waits, swings out at the right moment, finds himself one, and, well, with the time pressure as well, Dignitas have to walk into this site, but now with a man less to do the work with. Oh, my goodness. How does Freiburg find that kill?
It feels like they always come up when it really matters, but here in the 2 versus 2, and Freiburg on just a single point of health, he surely cannot do it once again. He's got a nice head glitch angle posted to negate the impact of that low HP, and there's no HEs to take him away. Jerry has to be hyper aware of this one. And I think that this is slightly wallbangable. He doesn't take away Freiburg. There's this double set piece, and Almeza is unable to break the crossfire. Forrest finishes, and that's 4 for Dignitas.
That was such a free opportunity for FORZE to put their 9th down, and instead Dignitas come through with a masterclass. I actually have no idea how Freiburg lands that shot. He was on, what, 25 HP or something like that as he pushed into that bomb site. Somehow that M4 connects 1 bullet as he's jumping round, and he hits what I can only call a lucky headshot. When you're in midair, your aim is so temperamental with any weapon in this game. That is absolutely incredible. Right now they're going for the fast banana push. The Molotov comes through. Almeza has to smoke it off. Surely that gives away his position. They're not even checking it.
Oh,
the smoke's gone down, and they're completely starting to neglect it. Now they check it, but oh, this is falling apart for them.
He's right behind. How does Dignitas not know that this has come through? And now we find ourselves in a 2 versus 2. Realistically, Almeza shouldn't even get away with a single from that position once the smoke is dropped. Dignitas, a bit of a brain fart, and now they're stuck in evens with the MAC-10 trying to hold up the line at the back of the B bomb site. Yes, Halzerk's already racked in 3 frags, and the bomb is planted fairly in the open, but with the smoke going down in a way that isolates Exist all on his lonesome. And now as they close in, there's not a lot of time on this bomb. Halzerk, surprise, surprise, it's the ace to finish off 5.
An absolutely incredible round from him. We didn't see all too much of him before this one, but here he is. Playing fantastically. And these final 2 actually just walk straight through that smoke. That's really the last thing C-Power expects in that scenario. Very, very well played. Puts them onto 5th and certainly keeps this half in contention. If they can close out 1 more, maybe 2 more, it'd be a very, very good half from them. Halzerk now with his favorite weapon. Europe in hand. Unable to find anything early, though.
You know what my favorite weapon is?
Go on.
It's the Zeus.
Oh,
It's a fast shot, but how does Sea Power manage to bail his way away from this one? The Molotov forces him into a really tricky position, and there's another one. He's out in the open and taken down by Exist. That's lovely play to isolate the ult for Dignitas.
that actually is. That's absolutely perfect to put a Molotov either side of him. The first one gets smoked, but then that forces him to either run through a fire to get back, which there's no chance of him doing, or actually jam himself into that corner, which they flashed and swung. So very, very well played to trade out that frag. And now they face just against the pistols. That AWP's completely unretrievable. However, as they continue to press on for this B bomb site, there is going to be a CT stack. It might be worth them feeling around elsewhere, potentially trying to poke a hole at this A defense where it's only Flit holding. Instead, they actually pull the rotation from Get Right. They are going for a full commitment over on B. This could be a mistake.
Definitely would be. Dignitas have a bad habit of pushing into stacks, especially this series. And the pistols, they're primed and ready to punish. The CZ falls on deaf ears, as now the Deagle wants to hold up the line. That's a stunning first headshot, but only able to convert the first, and that bomb will go down and away in the safety of the B bomb site. Now they know exactly where Elmazer is playing from based on that stack. Nice flower pot boost, but realistically, he has to break together a crossfire once more. Spots out both players, but it's Exist to finish it off. Dignitas, this is a lovely run of rounds. Back up to 6, and they are looking, well, quite consistent on this T side. I've got to say that 6 or 7 isn't the best T side of all time, but it is good enough here against FORZE.
Absolutely, especially if they can take 7, and considering they're just against the pistols in Kevlar, they should be able to. This wouldn't be a bad half at all. On their opponent's map pick, kicking things off on the T side, we certainly saw on Nuke that they had a significantly stronger CT side. And generally that remains consistent across most maps, because most of the time your CT side success just comes down to coordination and these crossfires and the communication as well. Right now, they've done a fair amount of damage early on, but FORZE aren't giving them too much to work with.
Just having to jump the final hurdle here. Dignitas haven't been too clean in the anti-ecos since the start of this series. The Deagles and that single CZ still posing a threat, but Get Right negating the first and maybe even the second, but that's Sea Power a little too quick for the old gun. This little damage peppered through from Freiburg, known as a bit of a spray master in his heyday. Also known as the King of Banana, and might have an opportunity to entry. It's Exist instead. Nice quick headshot, and this time Dignitas are not walking into a stack. They've had an overwhelming amount of success on this B-bomb site, and now FaceCrack wants to punish this one. Looks the wrong way, but there's a headshot. Expecting more presence on Banana, but instead clears it fully, leaving just Freiburg and Exist. Plants in the open, that's a mistake. Exist a 1 versus 3 with the clock ticking down. He needs to be snappy. Put his Nikes on and rush to that bomb, which is stuck inside the fountain. I've got a feeling Exist's going to be swimming with the fishies. He's surely going to go down here. He's going to get timed out. No opportunity there to convert the 7th. And that's actually a fairly big deal for Dignitas. A round that they really should have taken against just pistols for FORZE. I said earlier they haven't been overwhelmingly consistent in the anti-ecos. And there it is once again, just failing to push it over the line against the pistols.
Yeah, that is certainly unfortunate. FORZE actually played that scenario very, very well. Of course, that initial kill coming through from FaceCrack, he then falls right back. So there's no trade potential for Dignitas. Jerry actually does the same, where he swings, denies that bomb plant, and then he falls straight back as well. So it means that there's no opportunity for Exist to get a trade in, which he almost certainly would do if the pistol gave him the opportunity, and give him an opportunity to clutch that round as well. So FORZE take the half 9-6 as Dignitas switch over to this CT side. It's quite important for them to win this pistol round. And you touched upon it in that last round, Squid. Freiburg, formerly known as the King of Banana. I actually used to have a mug that had Freiburg on it with a crown, and he was sitting on a banana, and it's a King of Banana. Back in his heyday, he was one of my favorite players.
He was sitting on a banana.
Yeah, and he had a crown on his head. It said King of Banana. A friend got it for me for Christmas.
Fair enough. I'm not going to judge. Not going to judge you whatsoever. Here in the pistol, that is quite the headshot. Halzerg's definitely not expecting to get dinked up by that one. That's actually through the wall as well. Just through the very corner of that window. Does just over 50 points of damage. And FORZE still have all of the options on the table. Butter knife at the ready. Wanting to slice into B, perhaps. The bomb can still rotate back and open. Freiburg does spot out the first, but yeah, he wants to gun into banana here. That flashbang is going to give away a little bit of information to C-Power, knowing that Freiburg's now getting aggressive. That forces the third man, the prompt in the form of Exist, back over to the A bomb site. But do Dignitas have the manpower over here beside A to actually stop these terrorist forces? FORZE certainly thinks so. Quick headshot from Halzerg as well as the T's draw in closer. Here come the kills. Blocks rattling the way on in through. FORZE, another. That's his second. And puts Jerry in a real unenviable position. Where's that bomb? Finally grabs it. 35 seconds on the board. As he taps the numbers in, here come Dignitas, safety in numbers, wanting to isolate him as Freiburg right over the top. That's his second jumping shot of this series.
That is fantastic from Dignitas. You talked about it as the execute actually came through from FORZE on that A site. Do they have the manpower? No, they did not. It was a 5 versus 2. They had to hit those shots, and they came through with 4 before that rotation came in. It's exactly what they needed, and it allowed those final 2 players to convert that 2 versus 1 clutch. So as a must-win round for Dignitas, they managed to convert it. Now what they need to make sure is that they actually win these follow-up 2 rounds, because if FORZE are allowed to force up into this one like they have and convert it, then Dignitas have a problem on their hands.
Do see people questioning, is 6, 7 on a CT-sided map good enough for Dignitas on this T side? It would ordinarily be, but when you dig your teeth into the statistics, Dignitas usually do far better on the T side of this map. 54% win rate as opposed to just over a 40% win rate on the CT side. That's where the danger comes from in this second map for the Swedes. Of course, they also have the non-Swedish Norwegian threat of Halzerg as well thrown into the mix, but a minute left. FORZE with a force buy as I'm trying to catch on the Forcer. But with a minute remaining, they're going to head into B sooner rather than later. Get right being burnt to an absolute halt. Wants to dodge out of that one. It forces him forward into the waiting arms of these members as he instantly drops. Freiburg's unable to get the job done. No trades through. And that bomb can easily go down here. Halzerg not peppering through with nearly enough damage. He gets taken down. Should be a said and done round from FORZE. Up to number 10. And that was a very wonky defense of the B bomb site for Dignitas.
It really was. That Molotov as well on to get right doesn't actually do tons of damage, but it gives away his position, because not only can they hear the Molotov ticks, they can actually hear him drop off of first oranges as well. So they know exactly where he is. And with those Tech 9s, with the running spam potential, they are just going to sprint around that corner, popping bullets at where your head's going to be. That means that they're actually able to convert that round. They keep all 5 players alive for now. Yeah, okay, they are all going to survive. That's going to work wonders for the economy. That was a must-win round for Dignitas. That's a real shame that they've let that one slip.
And now what do? I guess a dilemma. Maybe they just feel just compelled to force buy. I guess you have to, considering the money is so broken. Even if you save, you can't buy into the next. You have to at least save 2 on this CT side to get a full buy in hand. And they just don't have the money to go for it right now. It's a bit of a half buy. They're taking a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B.
Ooh, nice couple of openings there from Flit as well. FORZE can win this one. They break the economy of Dignitas. They have a 4-round lead. This would be huge for them. Of course, this is their map pick. They were looking very, very convincing early on. It was Dignitas that were on the back foot, managed to pull it back and keep it competitive. Right now, Freiburg has to do a repeat of what we saw before, and he misses off the first shot. He is going to get taken down by Face Crack. And that's now going to be a 5 versus 2. It's existing get right still on this A site. It's looking like FORZE are actually going to walk into them. So an opportunity, but an opportunity that they're not going to take. Exist, just lost alive. Can't imagine he gets a whole lot done here. Does actually drop the bomb. Actually finds himself a second as well. He's doing tons of damage. I still don't think there's an opportunity for him to win this round, but if he can find one more kill, it would cause a lot of problems for FORZE, force some reinvestments. Nonetheless, they win it, and they keep 3 rifles floating.
Yeah, that round not good enough for Dignitas. I feel like they need to do a little more damage considering that's a half buy. This will now be the full eco. A buy in the 20th. This should be fairly uncontested, allowing FORZE up to 12. That would be a lead of 5, where they're realistically in quite a dominant position. We know how good they are on this T side, and moreover, how weak Dignitas can sometimes be on their defensive half here of Inferno. Inferno's a really tricky map to actually have a good defensive side on nowadays. It's not like old Inferno where you've got those wide open choke points. This one's really all about the rotations. Your teamwork and communication, your reads on your opponent need to be fairly flawless. And here we go, M&J. Taser time. I want to see. I want to see the taser.
Hozak's actually miles away.
Here we go. I am ready. The observer is just teasing me, occasionally just flicking towards Halzerk and then firing back. But here we go. I've got exactly what I've asked for. Let's see if FORZE walk into it. I guess they're going towards the B-bomb site nonetheless. Jerry's pretty much got all of the info up towards the top of Banana. And I guess if they send him in first, they're going to get all of the intel towards the B-bomb site. There's nobody here on the defense. And Dignitas, they can, I guess, post into the CT spawn for exits. But yeah, FORZE, they're going to sniff this one out. They smell a rat. There's nobody over here, M&J.
That's a shame. That's quite anticlimactic. I was getting quite excited for a Dignitas Zeus, for maybe a Dignitas pistol win. Instead, yeah, there's absolutely no point in them saving. They literally have nothing to save except Forest Eagle and a Zeus. So they are going to be charging in here, trying to do a little bit of damage with these USPs, but it's unlikely they'll get much done. Oh my, they take the word straight out of my mouth. It's actually get right to find 2 headshots. This has become very, very expensive for FORZE.
Oh, please.
Come on, Holzo.
Oh,
and he does tons of damage.
Punish it. It's time for the taser. Bam! There we go. That's made my day. I'm happy now. Can I go home?
Not quite yet. We've still got potentially another map on our hands if FORZE can close this one out. But Dignitas, that was a full eco, and they got 4 kills. They have made that very expensive for FORZE. Of course, they've got the money, so it's not going to bother them all too much. But 4 kills on a full eco round. And a Zeus kill.
And a Zeus kill. Well, this is my love letter to the Zeus. Valve, please give us skins. Just a little Zeus Asimov. A little Zeus Tigress, whatever you want to do. It doesn't even have to be a good skin. A Zeus X-Ray, I really, really don't mind. I'd love a Zeus Howl, but I don't think we'll get that one. Nonetheless, Gabe Newell, if you're watching, please give us Zeus skins. I will pay. I don't have any skins on my account. I use completely naked guns, but I would buy a Zeus skin. And I will spend up to £50.
Fair enough. I like that. I like that commitment. I'd quite like just like a pink Zeus. You could just get coloured Zeuses.
Oh, there we go. Give me the pink Zeus.
Pink Zeus. I'd like that.
I'd call it the magic finger. So for no reason, of course. 12 to 7. And now it's Dignitas time. They've really got to shine here on the CT side. Otherwise, this is going to be quite the quick second map. FORZE apparently about to walk into this trio of defense and get right. Oh, he might have actually made a misstep there. Are they going to check this one? No free fire coming through, and get right misses to shots nonetheless. Freiburg able to bail him out with a pair of shots, but he is still left isolated at the back of this B bomb site, and now he's getting the job done. What a conversion. Great headshot to finish off Face Crack as he gets his jaw smacked. 12-8, and Dignitas, are they back in this game? I'm not really sure.
If they can convert one more, then there's definitely potential for it. Two fantastic kills coming through, and a bit of a mistake from FORZE as well as they execute. Their CT smoke actually misses. It took like a really weird bounce. I'm not quite sure what happened with it, but they had no CT smoke in play, and yeah, it certainly cost them on that execute. Meant that they lost a few early players, too many angles they had to be watching at once as well. No warp in play for Dignitas, but a fantastic support flash. Allows Hozek to find that opener onto C-Power, getting a little bit aggressive there. 4 versus 4, minute 25 on the clock.
You don't need to engage as of this point. FORZE can still allow precious seconds to trickle away, especially as Flit goes voyaging and scavenging into the apartment, spots out Freiburg for just a couple of milliseconds, and there's Face Crack to convert. That's just perfect communication. Freiburg doesn't move enough, spots out the shots through the smoke, but unable to just read the scenario there that he's already been spotted. And that's a great opening for FORZE. Now they have to get the job done from the pit, and insist he's missing everything. Here come the terrorists. What a slammer into that A-bomb site. Dignitas down on manpower, and now down on money going into the next. This should be FORZE, not just onto 13, but 14, as they are rolling up the rounds on this terrorist side.
Wow, that was fantastic from FORZE. Their utility usage was brilliant. Obviously, existing that pit just couldn't get anything done whatsoever. They actually had really solid positions. They should have been able to shut that down, but FORZE just had a fantastic read on the situation. As you say, Flit in the apartments just spotting out, I believe it was Freiburg over towards Library. That means that they can just spam through the smoke, take him down, and then as soon as that kill comes through, then they can get this pincer in. And these 3 players on the A site just can't deliver anything whatsoever. FORZE were able to put themselves onto 13. They denied Dignitas the opportunity that they had to try and close this gap and level out the scoreline. Instead, they now sit 5 ahead, and this CT side have got really no money in the bank to work with. Only that M4 on Get Right that saved, and I think they have to go for an eco here. That's exactly what they're going to do.
And this easily allows FORZE onto 14. Unless Get Right can be the hero once again. We've seen it so many times before, but here they're almost pressured for the map right now, and I guess Dignitas won't be too disheartened with this going to dust too. I feel like that still favors FORZE. We said that Nuke was a must-win. They did win it. But now, it might be back to evens sooner rather than later. FORZE playing a nice convincing game of Counter-Strike, especially on this T side, where Dignitas cannot control the pace. I think Dignitas terrorist halves have actually been a lot better than their CT sides, to be perfectly honest with you. They've been controlling that pace, finding those openings, obviously feeling a lot more confident. And now with FORZE bringing the fight to them, they're just not putting up the same numbers, M&J. Now towards the A-bomb site, it's a bit of a stack. FORZE could still read that it's 4 towards this side of the map. And more importantly, they've got Get Rights for a 4 in play towards A. I think this is still all on the table, and I guess FORZE are about to walk into this one with Dignitas not moving a muscle.
That's actually quite smart. Freiburg's just on that corner, so when they flash, they spot him running back, and they now know that there's at least one over towards B, and they're anticipating a stack, so they're going to walk straight into this A bomb site, where there's 4 pistols holding. I still don't think they're able to get a whole lot done here, but with FORZE opening things up, they actually convert a flurry of kills. C-Power has to find that pistol frag, and he's able to do so. Freiburg now in the 2 versus 1, only the USP in hand, but he converts the first. This becomes very, very doable. Flit is down to
3 seconds left.
HP. There's 3 seconds. They've already won it. Dignitas. How on earth have they done that?
That is the magical round on the table there for Dignitas. Almost a must-win with just the pistols. The stack falls perfectly in their favor, and they're up to 9-1 away from double digits, and it's not even Get Right 7484 to do the job. It's the pistols pouncing out, and FORZE just caught with their pants down.
Wow, that was their chance to put themselves onto 14. Instead, Dignitas go to 9. They've got the money to work with. They can put themselves 13 to 10. That's very doable. You can very easily come back from that, especially when your opponent's economy is broken. You just need to play perfect Counter-Strike from here on out. No more mistakes.
They need to tighten up this defense. With the quadruplet of M4A4s in play and Halzerk's AWP just posturing towards now the B bomb site. He's the first man on the wrap and rotate. Probably just watching this reactive angle once again. Straight onto Banana, perhaps. They didn't have the information to do that. Nevertheless, I guess the smoke placed, just taking the risk that FORZE won't be gunning evenly through. Expecting the flashbang, is fully blinded, forced away to a more passive stance. With another smoke down and away, he's taking the gamble that FORZE won't make the play through the smoke, and they absolutely won't. They'll let another 10-20 seconds dissipate away from this clock. And now Halzerk, what does he want to go for? Just playing the anti-angle with the AWP. I'd much prefer him to watch it. And instead the flashes come through. Which angle is he going to post? It's not good enough. Face crack finds him. And with 30 seconds left, this B bomb site's fully up for grabs. And I think Dignitas just need to save here. Get right. Isn't able to spray any bullets through the smoke. Just watching for the jump up. Perhaps from C-Power, but it's not coming through. FORZE, no mistakes. And this should be a guaranteed save for Dignitas. That's exactly what they decide to go for.
It's such a shame. You see it time and time again here on Inferno. As soon as one of those sites are lost, unless there's sufficient damage coming through on that, well, from that anchor, it's just not viable. Such long rotations. By the time you get there, the bomb's already gone down. They've already taken post-plant positions. Real shame that Halzerk wasn't able to convert a shot there. Completely gives up the B-bomb site. I think that's a little bit of a mistake to just have that lone anchor there early on. I think you can justify having a single player on B if you put 2 there early on just to make sure that no rush comes through, and then you can rotate off. You can kind of make that read and go for that gamble stack, but instead it was just Halzerk, that lone man holding it. He gets absolutely punished. What's interesting though is this double AWP setup on FORZE right now. Not something you see all too often on the T side, especially not on Inferno.
I think we're almost definitely going to all 3 here. Dignitas unable to hold up the line on CT. And with Halzerk deprived of the AWP, I really don't see Dignitas' way back into this, considering they need 7 out of 7 to take this in regulation. 6 out of 7 would take them to OT. That is a nasty nade. Does nothing. It's rubbish.
Rubbish. They might as well have thrown it in the bin. Nonetheless, the rest of their utility flying over towards A. The flash is going to connect as well. There are 3 angry CTs ready and waiting on short here, though. And as soon as these flashes come through, they are going to go for the peak, but Exist can't convert anything. 2 of the 3 players were flashed, but it's Face Crack, the man playing the anti-flash, to swing out and find it. The man advantage now lying with FORZE. They've still got time to work with here.
I love that double set play from Face Crack as well. Holzuk's trying to gun in for the M4A4 and might have a peculiar angle for FORZE to deal with, but gunning right through this smoke, he might just get spotted up right now. With that kill not converted, Holzuk eliminated, and FORZE only able to find one response. Still a 3 versus 3 with Get Right pitching in. But with the A bomb site under contention, it's FORZE time once again, and even trading will put this bomb down, and another after plant for FORZE to try and hold up. Dignitas, they definitely need some magic, maybe Freiburg to whip the magic wand out to take them to double digits. How do they get back into this one? Yes, Get Right has the defuse kit, but with C-Power nailing the shot, and Freiburg edging in closer, this little moped might be the bit of cover that he needs. It's damage, no kills, and FORZE 15.
That is such a shame. Get Right. He had a Molotov in that situation. I want to see him either go for the jiggle, realize there's an AWP in pit, and then throw the Molotov down there, or actually wait for his teammate to creep further up long, gain some information, and then use that utility. Instead, just peek straight into the barrel of that AWP, gets taken out, and this is all said and done. FORZE almost certainly convert this round. Dignitas have nothing to work with. What was looking incredibly close is now looking like it's probably going to be a 16-9 win for FORZE, which on paper looks quite dominant. We know that that's not necessarily the case.
I think they've been quite powerful and actually quite dominant on this terrorist side. I think on the first half, it was actually pretty close and contested, but Dignitas just haven't looked in this game on the defense. Haven't been able to force it to double digits. We've not seen that same star power shining through. And now 6 out of 6 to take OT. I cannot see it happen for a second here, M&J. 70 seconds. And Get Right might be challenged over by Banana, clearing the corners with these Molotovs. And the hard checks come through. There's nobody holding it, just waiting for this flashbang is Get Right. And it does come in. Oh, it actually lands quite nicely, but there's the anti-flash to count him out, leaving only exist on his lonesome on this B-bomb site. Needs to radio in for the reinforcements, and it is Freiburg to happily provide. Sneaks his way towards Coffins. So they still do have a double defense, but there's no secondary smoke here on B. It's going to be absolutely zero utility for existing Freiburg to try and get the job done. Instead, the boost comes through. But how much damage can the MP9 do? Apparently not too much, as Exist gets instantly forced back. Now FaceCrack needs to find these kills, and he absolutely does to provide. Freiburg in the back lines. We saw him do this just a little earlier today in the shadow spotted. Guarantees just one, but this one is surely done. 5 seconds, bomb goes down, and Freiburg in Hausberg, or Forest in Hausberg, I should say, cannot provide ever so slightly. Let's see. There's the single HE, almost doing masses of damage, but leaving Forest on his lonesome, this map is surely over. So I don't think he can convert this 1 versus 3 scenario. FORZE aren't giving him an inch to work with. And despite peppering through with that initial damage, he has to walk into this defensive triangle of the afterplan. The peak, it's coordinated, and that's 16 for FORZE.
It absolutely is. That's really, really incredible stuff there from that T side of FORZE. I mean, you said it perfectly, really. It was fantastic. It was near flawless on that second half. There was a couple of rounds here and there that went a little bit funky. Of course, that full eco round from Dignitas converting. Other than that, though, they really didn't bring a whole lot to that CT side. And as expected, FORZE take that second map and we go into a third. A very, very exciting semi-final series so far.
Yeah, there isn't a whole lot to break down there. I just think that you've covered most of the bases where Dignitas, it was a pretty decent T side, but I just didn't get excited about it. It wasn't enough. Taking 6 rounds on your terrorist side of a map like Inferno, it looks good on paper. Maybe a couple of years ago, it would have been a winning scoreline, but realistically, here in 2020, you need a couple more than that. Combine that with a pistol, which they did actually take, but the follow-ups was the issue. So, unfortunate stuff. We are diving into Dust 2 next. It's a third and final map to find our secondary grand finalists. Who's going to be playing Mad Lions in a couple of hours' time? Find out after the break.
Nice shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Woo, damn! That was one of the best tickle fights I've been to.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. It's map 3 between Dignitas and FORZE for a spot in these grand finals against Mad Lions in just an hour's time. I'm excited to be here. My name's Squid. You can see it on the screen down there. But I'm joined by M&J, who is equally excited to be here. He doesn't smile that much, but he is excited, I promise.
I am. I'm very excited, Squid. We've seen a few fantastic maps today so far. We saw a 2-0 earlier on with Mad Lions taking down a Sparta in incredible fashion. I think that they're definitely one to watch in the grand finals. Of course, you got to stick around. You got to watch that later on. That's going to be a fantastic game. But before we get into it, we have to find out who they're going to be facing. It's either going to be Dignitas or it's going to be FORZE. And this one so far has gone the distance. We're heading over to the third map. It's going to be Dust 2. It's a fantastic decider. It's a map that both teams are comfortable with. And I honestly couldn't tell you who's going to take it.
Yeah, I do think that FORZE are favored coming into this, and maybe even quite heavily favored. I really do dig their Dust too. Sea Power seems to be sensational with that AWP. He controls the middle of the map. He's going to be that floating voter. You'll see him towards mid. You'll see him towards car watching short, and expect headshots galore, even from the AWP. He's so consistent at pinpointing those fast frags as you do go for those short pushes. It's quite a common tactic nowadays, especially if you've just got a couple of pistols in hand. You want a fast plant on that A bomb site. Short is usually the easier option. It's not when you've got FORZE holding down the line, and especially C-Power with that AWP. He's definitely one to watch out for throughout this series. Flit has also been a shining star as well. It's the usual suspects for FORZE as we get into this final map. It's knife round time in this third and final. I'm excited as we go into Dust 2.
Well, kicking things off here on this knife round. I think it doesn't really matter all too much who takes this one. On a map like Dust 2, of course. Fairly balanced. It's not as impactful as we see maybe on Nuke, maybe on Train. Here it doesn't make all too much difference.
No difference whatsoever. I think that Dignitas will be fine with the T or CT side. I think FORZE likewise will be even more comfortable. That's nice considering they probably will take that CT-sided start. You'd be expecting them to pick it here on Dust 2. See if Exist can do something funky. Probably not, though. Usually don't see these sort of knife clutches. He's going to have to force a mistake out of FORZE. Oh, and there is one of them. Oh, no. That's awkward. That's Exist's first clutch of the series. I'm joking, of course. That's just a joke for all of you at home.
Toxic.
Toxic.
That was a 4K, though. I think that might have actually been his first 4K of the series.
I'm not sure. I don't want to judge. I'm not going to judge. I'm not a judgmental person, as you know. Silence. Absolute silence. Yeah. No defense. No defense.
What do you want me to
Squid
say?
whatsoever.
No, Squid. You're right.
You're a lovely person. I really enjoy casting with you.
I do. I do enjoy casting with you. We have a lot of fun.
We do.
It's going to be our last map of the day, though, Squid. Not doing the finals. We hand over to...
Not sure. Or it might actually be Scriven Seaside. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the timetable. You're going to have to help me out. Maybe production can help out as well. It's somebody good. I know that. I know that whoever it is, they're not going to be disappointed.
Let's have a look. It is Scriven Seaside.
Oh, it is. Oh, I got it wrong at first. Okay. No, they're really good. Seaside's a pretty funny dude. I've said this a fair amount. He's like the only person, maybe only in private though, I'll say it publicly as well. He's like the only person who properly cracks me up when I watch him cast. He's so funny. He's just got funny bones. He's just a funny dude. He gave me a cookie the other day.
A cookie?
A cookie, yes.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, it's absolutely a game to watch out for. Two very good casters, casting two very good teams. Whichever of these two actually qualify for that final spot. Dust 2's in the way first, though, and it is going to be Dignitas kicking things off on this CT side. And, well, the odds from our partners over at LootBat heavily favouring FORZE here. As they have done throughout the entirety of this series, can I just add, though?
Yeah, I really can't say I'm massively surprised. Even starting on this T side here, I think they're fairly favored. As soon as C-Power gets that AWP in hand, they become far more dangerous. This time, a trailblaze towards short, but with the bomb stacked towards the B bomb site, I feel like this is a bit of a sneaky fake for FORZE. They might decide to bail and go for the mid to B rotate. This is a full fake. They are committing to this one. And Jay, quick kills for Dignitas to preliminary shut this one down. And that's a must-hit headshot for Flit. He does get into the B site. C-Power has mid control. Freiburg's got to be hyper aware of this one, and I don't know. Oh, he does go for the peak. Gets taken down nonetheless. And now made even more difficult as he scrambles towards the USPS. C-Power wants even more. There's his third. And now exists with a tough, tricky retake back into the B site. He hasn't got the body armor. There's the flashbang on through. Gives away his position and Zixist. He's fully blind. What a clutch from C-Power. Puts the pistol on the board, and FORZE are back to winning ways here on Dust 2.
That is absolutely incredible from C-Power. When he's in that corner, you think to yourself, maybe they will walk past and he's able to get them in the back of the head. Instead, it's actually cleared by Freiburg, and he has to fight his way out, but he finds himself 3 crisp headshots, and he's able to wrap all the way around and land a fantastic flash and the kill onto Exist. A 1 versus 4 for him to clutch up to take that pistol round for FORZE. And now they're in the driving seat straight off the bat here on Dust 2.
Well, the pistol's trying to poke in, and they do initially steal away C-Power's AK-47. A little overzealous. I'd usually put the MAC-10 in that specific position, considering it's nice and short range. And the damage is being ferociously pumped in. Hauser doesn't connect with that tertiary shot, but nevertheless, Jerry's already been tagged. Oh, and that is very, very close to the wall bang. That was incredibly just a whisker away. And now FORZE have to go for this cross. They do have enough smokes in hand. 2 go down. Still 1 in the back pocket for Jerry. As the MAC-10 closes in. Face crack lives up to his name. Instantly slams into another one. It's the jumping shots from the scout. Nothing connecting initially. Let's get right. Trying to throw a spanner in the works. Flit going for this flank. FORZE a good map control, but the HP advantage, I guess, just favors Dignitas ever so slightly, and definitely does now with Exist pumping Almazer between the eyes. There goes the AK. The flank works out perfectly for Flit, and now Dignitas have to bail away from A, with only a Deagle and Scout in play.
Wow. Done well to find as much damage as they have. Oh, all of these T's are so low. They could certainly inflict more here. That's not going to be the case, though. Nonetheless, FORZE convert the round. They keep 3 alive as well. Dignitas, they certainly kept that one in contention. And that's the issue, though. When you have those scouts in play, you tag people up. If there's no one there to support you with an SMG or a pistol, then you have to land another shot just to find that kill. Real shame. Now they have very little to work with once again. And, well, they head over towards long. This is actually a 3-man stack. The nades aren't going to do a whole lot, but the Deagles will.
This is such a weird, funky buy. I guess Dignitas, they don't need to invest anything, considering they're 0-2 down. But for FORZE, they should be able to take control of this, knowing that there's another player to isolate that stack on the A site. They've got information onto Holzerk, but the Deagle able to chip through for another one. That drops the bomb, and he's still going with the Deagle, wanting to charge forward. Molotov in play, burns him alive, roasted and toasted style. Nice and crispy. Forrest, does find another one. That's a rifle in play. Molotov goes away, but the bomb already retrieved. Gives a path, an avenue of approach for C-Power. He wants to isolate things onto long here, MNJ. This is probably the best angle for the job. I can't imagine Forrest predicts this. Does trail things towards short, but what does Forrest expect to happen here? He's going on to long himself. Maybe this is the best play for him. could get an isolation back angle onto Sea Power, who needs to be cautious on this cross, considering there's no smoke in hand. Will he expect FORZE? That's the big question mark. As the Galil closes in. This is all about timings. Oh, and Sea Power's actually planting for him. This is all about timing once again. FORZE, he's got a great angle, and Sea Power finally needs to check behind and hits the one shot required.
Well, that's very good awareness from Sea Power there, but if FORZE had just taken a couple of steps to wrap around the back, maybe he was just a tiny bit quicker. He certainly could have either caught him off when he had his back turned too long and he was walking up, or even when he was planting that bomb, just impeccable timing, being a second or two late. Either way, that was a full eco from Dignitas with just a scout and an SMG saved from the last, so doing that much damage is certainly impactful. It gives them enough cash to work with here as well. FORZE's already been tagged up through that door, but it doesn't matter all too much. A 5 versus 5, a double AWP setup in play here for Dignitas. Definitely viable on a map like Dust 2. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, this is the change of pace, and it has to be influential. I don't know if it will be, considering FORZE have already taken long control and Sea Power already isolating these angles on the A bomb site. Dignitas are playing a real funky setup. Double set play on short, wanting to pitch in from behind. Yes, one of those AWPs are at the ready. That's Halzerk, but already going down to 31 points of health. The AK can tap him in the chest just the once to take him out of commission. And with 60 seconds on the board, Almeza, fantastic angle, isn't good enough for Freiburg. He's a little too quick. Yes, this cross now needs to come through. That's a lovely Molotov. Is Flick trying to turn the tide? Good response from Halzerk. And now FORZE, they want to get back onto this A site, but it's only Jerry remaining, and this is looking said and done.
They've been absolutely outmaneuvered. They try and either backtrack, or possibly he was just trying to wrap around long and get in the back lines of short. Instead, it's read like a book. Freiburg's played this round absolutely perfectly. I'm actually quite surprised that they've allowed Jerry to get onto this site, get that bomb down, and let it tick away so much before they go for this retake. They almost certainly win this round, but by allowing it to tick, puts time pressure on them and gives Jerry an opportunity, if he can land a couple of opening shots, to convert this round. Finally, they push through, and there we go. Jerry with the 2K, looking for more here as well, and if he converts it, this might just be over. What on earth are Dignitas doing? Jerry's found himself a 1-on-4. Dignitas essentially fed him that round.
That is disgusting. 4-0 is FORZE keep the flawless scoreline, and here it is again. A double spray away all of the headshots. They go in one by one, M&J. Halzerk making the same mistake, and oh, that is really disgraceful. 4-0, and there goes the tactical timeout. Good timing, I think. I think it'll just be pistol armor in this one for Dignitas, but really sketchy stuff.
I'm quite shocked by that. I genuinely, you see sometimes plays like that go the wrong way, but I really have no idea what Dignitas were doing there. They took so long to get into position. That bomb was already 2/3 gone by the time they were pushing in for that retake. And then they push him one by one with the double AWPs coming in for the close fights as well. It just made no sense, and they threw away a round that was rightfully theirs. Gives FORZE so far the clean sheet, and actually the opportunity to extend it further with all the weapons and money to work with.
And this is where Dust 2 becomes dangerous for Dignitas. This is almost definitely going to be 5-0 unless these pistols can pump in, and it's just not happening. That's a lovely conversion from FORZE. Hyper aware that Dignitas were going to do something funky, and the Deagle only able to connect with one. Should push FORZE to the 5th. There's the final pickup. 5-0.
Well, now another full investment from Dignitas. If they can open up the round like they did in the one, not the last round, but the round prior to that, and they've got a good opportunity. They just have to not make these huge mistakes. And Well, by giving FORZE an opportunity to continue this reign of terror, certainly might shake them up a little bit. C-Power got a very nice angle on this boost, and actually an uncharacteristic miss. It doesn't get traded, though. It does actually get nade stacked, but it doesn't matter. He's already fallen off ages ago. He's miles away from those grenades. With a minute 25 on the clock, it's still a 5-on-5.
This is where that tactical timeout needs to come into play for Dignitas. They've just had a conversation, and now we need to see the response. Back with rifles, Halzek's AWP, no double sniper setup this time. And let's see what FORZE can do to try and extend this lead further. Halzek's got a very thin angle here. And with the flashbang counting him away, he shoots right between the terrorists. Exist being the second prompt, and as Halzek drops, this puts a lot of pressure on the captain. The full flash takes clean him out. As Exist also drops, it's Freiburg. Cannot hold up the line. This is falling apart at the seams for Dignitas.
Oh, FORZE, he's only allowed one back. Yeah, right now, 1 versus 4. He's even being flanked by Flit. There's absolutely no chance for him in that round. And FORZE almost have a flawless round in number 6. Still yet to lose one. And another timeout comes through from Dignitas. We saw this on Nuke. And I'm actually not sure if they ran out on Nuke. I wasn't counting, but I do remember you pointing out in round number 8 or 9, I think it was, they'd already used like 3 tactical timeouts. We're seeing similar here. Makes sense to use them early to prevent your opponents from just running away with the half, running away with the match. But it's also dangerous because if you start to pull it back, then later on in the map, you really don't have many to work with when you may need them.
Yeah, there's no point allowing this scoreline to get to 10-0 before using your second tactical timeout. The map's practically over and you're out of the tournament at that point. It's 6-0 right now. That's bad enough. It's time to go back to the drawing board and really discuss what's going wrong. And maybe, once again, M&J, it's a confidence issue. I think for FORZE, Dust 2 is actually one of their best maps. We see C-Power just stepping up every single time. And the nade stack's beautiful. The conversion doesn't come through with that deadly P250. Jerry's still with the angle, and the bomb isn't deterred. It's coming in as well. Face crack. He's going to try and take these angles, but yeah, Jerry's already got it posted. That's not a really impactful push for Forest. Forces us back into a 4 versus 4 with only Freiburg defending the A site, and Dignitas far on the rotates. The pistols now being pried out of the server as, I guess, C-Power there has spotted the whole cross. The game is given away. They know exactly where Dignitas is playing from, and the Deagles have to do something disgusting if they are going to put their first on the board, and that's just not going to happen here. Not even planting on the outside for Get Right to take any jumping shots, and that's a 7th.
Rather convincing 7th at that, and the money started to build up as well. It's round number 8. It's freeze time. It's an opportunity to talk about our partners over at Hellcase. Make sure you're using code MaltaV or MaltaV15 for a 15% refill bonus when you top up. Now another buy coming through for Dignitas. The double AWP setup once again. It's Halzek and FORZE to wield them. One going over to A, one going over to B. And FORZE, he's got a nice angle here, but the flash is actually going to force him off and allow those players up to short. He can't quite connect the shot.
7-0, back to the double snipers. This has to be successful for Dignitas. They're hemorrhaging rounds on this CT side where they have to be effective. Maybe if Exist didn't take that 1v2 in the knife round, they'd be in better stead on their T side here. Of course, you've got to play both halves anyway, but it's all a factor of momentum, and Dignitas have been better on average on their terrorist half thus far today. Back from Nuke onto Inferno, where they took the lion's share of their rounds on T. And then, I guess, once again, here on Dust 2, having quite a weak defensive half. I think that's where the nuts need to be tightened up. And Halzek might be the young gun to get the job done. Here's the sniper at the ready. Gets completely Molotov to pieces over by the A ramp. And now Freiburg needs to come in massive. He doesn't get mollied out himself, so forced into Goose as he has to back away some control, and it's not going to happen. Look at those kills converted. 3 for 3. And Dignitas, they are being locked out of this server right now. This is likely going to be an 8-0 start. Yes, a 2 versus 3 scenario with FORZE finding another one to even up the numbers. And Exist does have the defuse kit in hand, but swept out of the server, leaving FORZE, the veteran, left last alive to get taken down. 8-0 here from FORZE. They're not slowing at all.
C-Power playing absolutely incredibly, sitting 12-2. And you talk about it being a factor of momentum, but at this stage, it may even be a factor of lack of opportunity, I should say, as if FORZE continue to rack up these T rounds, Dignitas might not have much of a T round to see. Of course, if it goes at 10-5, 11-4, FORZE become incredibly close to that magic number very, very early on. The flashes come through, the counter flashes come over. That's actually going to allow Exist to find himself 2. But Jerry picks up the pieces quite well, finds himself 2 kills back. Does some damage onto the last as well. He's hungry for this final kill onto Exist, but I think his teammates are advising against it. They don't want to be left in a 2-on-2 situation. They want to maintain this man advantage and group up and head over towards B by the looks of things.
This is the best bet. Let's see if Halzer can negotiate himself into a good position from the upper tons. I guess FORZE are going to be aware. With no coverage of this side of the map, it's being firmly and fiercely held down. There's the smoke and the Molotov as well. And Exist, yes, he's retrieved an AK, but might just want to cling on to this one. 9-0. The max loss bonus has been in full effect for quite some time for Dignitas. But remember, that's only a silver lining. They're yet to take a round here on Dust 2. As FORZE are just cracking this defense open at every single point. C-Power with a great series here once again. 12-2 to get us started on Dust 2. And realistically, not too many teammates that far behind. You've got everybody else just lurking right outside of the double-digit mark. And when you compare that to Dignitas, get right, only 1 kill, I think, thus far. Yes, 1 in 8.
Not fun. Not fun at all. C-Power, he's certainly been the man of the hour, the man of the series, I should say.
By the way, Jay, to interject, can we watch that 1v4 again? Because this was a turning point, definitely, of this first half that is very, very important to go back to. Because I think this has shaken the confidence of Dignitas. I don't like to talk about single rounds affecting the next 5 or 6. But if we could watch that 1 versus 4 again, some stunning stuff. Guess not. Not fast enough on the button, M&J.
Maybe not, maybe not. But either way, I think you may be right. That was an opportunity that Dignitas should win 99% of the time. And in doing so, they would put their first round on the board, they'd break the economy of their opponent and possibly be able to pull together a couple off of it. And it was still at a time where the scoreline wasn't out of hand. Whereas now, 9-0 down, this is just so difficult to come back from. Even if they win a single round here, their opponents have already had a good half, and they have so much more to play with. A nice double spray down from Get Right gives them a lifeline here, especially as Holzert converts 1 more. But they've given up the B site, and this can be so difficult to retake, even with this 2-man advantage.
FORZE are gunning for 10. It's going to be exceptionally difficult, even with C-Power voyaging into the tunnels. There's Exist eliminated, and now Dignitas need to isolate FaceCrack, stuck on this B-bomb site. He is tucked in the back lines, and he knows exactly where Holzer's playing from. A 1-bullet headshot, absolutely necessary, and there is the single. C-Power misses a shot in the meantime as he tries to charge through the smoke, but it's not going to get the job done. There's Dignitas with their first round, but they need a lot more on this CT side.
The real issue is in allowing their opponents to go 9-0 up, they've allowed them to build up their economy to crazy, crazy heights. And it means that they've got so much money behind them, they can reinvest and reinvest and reinvest. And actually, Dignitas need to convert probably 2 or 3 buy rounds here, actually, to break the economy of their opponent. FORZE are in a fantastic position here. And yeah, they've just gone for this full investment once again. Seapower with that AWP, rifles on the rest. They just have to mentally reset, put that last round behind them, and continue to snowball here.
Yeah, Dignitas have to win at least 2 more before they get met with an eco. These 9 rounds haven't just been in succession and consecutive, but very dominant as well. Building up that economy. You see, even with the further investment, Seapower still $7,400 in his back pocket. That'll trickle down quite quickly if Dignitas do start winning rounds. With shots like that, they do stand a chance.
No trade coming through there as well. That's a really fantastic shot from Holzerk. Nice bit of initiative. Push in that aggression, find that opener. Forrest just spots out the head, but he's not quick enough to the trigger. Nonetheless, he's still got the angle. Flit seems to be aware that there might be someone here, and there we go. The swing comes through. That's the kill. The refrag they needed to level things back out into a 4-on-4. 45 seconds now on this clock as they start to push out to Catwalk. And Freiburg, it's even predicted that he's going to get aggressive on long. Flit has a fantastic read of the situation. And as they drop down from short, Holzerk's unable to connect the shot. Does find the follow-up, but Flit's still doing work.
Finds the first and swings around and unable to connect. But with Holzerk still waiting and watching here, FORZE do not want to overexpose themselves. Maybe Seapower might be ballsy enough to take the shot. Instead, just watching onto short, where Get Right is posed. He's posted, and now that flash, that was almost flawless, but Almeza finds him anyway. Holzerk now a 1 versus 2 on the cards, and instantly gets swinged by Seapower to take double digits. That's 10.
That's such a fantastic round from Flit. Because even though he's not the man that finds those opening kills onto the site, and it felt like the first kill that he found, and maybe even the second kill, was relatively unimpactful, if he falls there, it actually means that there's the pressure of a flank coming in from short. You've got the 2 players rotating in from CT, and they've got a 4 versus 4, possibly even a 4 versus 3 situation on their hands that becomes very, very doable for Dignitas. But by Flit actually eliminating the flank from Freiburg, and then finding 1 kill on the rotation and slowing down the second rotator as well, it means that there's just no chance for Dignitas there on that retake. Those numbers just get thinned out, and a round that could be potentially theirs just slips away just like that. FORZE then bounce straight back off of that round that they've lost. They sit 10-1. The economy of Dignitas isn't too great right now either. They've just got that USP and MP9. And this could be all over here. If FORZE can convert this round, Dignitas will have nothing left to work with. And it'll be a horrible way to end this first half.
Well, that is just such a fast running gun. So much momentum for FORZE. Trailblazing the way onto this B-bomb site. And well, that smoke's not going to do all too much. It does isolate Face Crack for just a couple of moments, but Get Right hasn't really got the most powerful of positions. And as this C4 goes down, you see Dignitas almost saving already. They can't afford to give over with these rifles one more time. And Almez is already on the hunt. He knows what's going on completely. Yes, Get Right sending himself into this one, and he might actually find these 2 kills. If he gets lucky with the timing, let's see if he does decide to post his way through window. This boost is not very well set up to deal with a UMP whatsoever. So Flip, he does get caught off guard, and now the AWP needs to hold in behind this B-bomb site. Get Right, he doesn't have a kit to try and cause any sort of ninja, anything too insane. Instead, trying to keep this AK alive, and well, that's a nice combination to pad the stats ever so slightly. Still an 11th for FORZE nonetheless. And realistically, M&J, it's these scores on the doors that really matter. 11-1, that's way too much.
Absolutely, especially considering they've still got another 3 rounds to play out as well, that they could sway their way. This becomes very dangerous. Get Right has done exceptionally well there to actually find those 3 kills and keep that AK. But as you say, it's just not enough. When you look at the scoreline, it becomes very, very unimpactful. It's unfortunate they don't go for that retake. If he has a support flash there, maybe swings, finds himself 2, that becomes doable. Instead, his teammates had already called the save 20, 30 seconds prior. Now 11-1. This is where Dignitas absolutely have to start putting some rounds on the board. An 11-4 half isn't good, but it's certainly doable. As soon as they go 13-2, 14-1 down, there's little to no chance that they come back into this one.
Yeah, it does put a lot of pressure on these last 3 rounds, and also pressure on the pistols. I think that if Dignitas, even at an 11-4 scoreline, lose that secondary pistol round, it's pretty much game over at that point, unless they take one of the forces. They'd just be so down on rounds at that point. This is an opportunity to take their second, considering Almaze is already gone. Flit and C-Power low on HP. That Molotov does actually land nicely. So Halzuk with a powerful angle avoids both flashbangs, but doesn't avoid that one. Face crack right through that smoke. Now has to challenge Freiburg, who instantly goes down as well. So the opportunity to plant this bomb. Maybe the jump up from FORZE. What's he going to decide to do? Instead, straight up ramp. C-Power misses his marker. And there's a double headshot to finish things off for the second.
Very nice stuff from FORZE right at the end there. That was actually FORZE and Freiburg getting all the work done in that 13th round. Now we go into number 14, and at least Dignitas have got some tools to work with. They've got a couple of AKs. They've got this AWP on Halzuk. Halzuk hasn't actually been the most consistent with it. I've actually been quite disappointed with him this map so far. He's been very, very good. I called his name out quite a lot over on Nuke earlier on in this series, where he was hitting some exceptional shots and actually playing very, very well with that scoped rifle. Here on Dust 2, I certainly can't say the same. And well, this time FORZE is going to go for a bit of a change of pace. They want to try and get out long very quickly, and Freiburg, he doesn't fancy his chances here. Instead, the flash goes through, but Almaze is not able to convert 3.
Not even able to convert 1. 90-second mark. Plenty of time for both squads. As FORZE sitting, lying in wait over beside long. And Dignitas are really nicely set up to eviscerate this long attack. Does find that second. Now they need to swing into Halzuk's position with the AWP posted over by Carr. Just one shot nailed here should realistically end this 14th round. As we said, it's not an impressive scoreline by any means for Dignitas. For FORZE, it's almost the grand final in hand. Nice angle. Still, not a lot of advantages for FORZE in this one, as they do get sprayed away one more time. That should end things over by the A-bomb site. Flip unable to get that bomb even closer to A. Leaves C-Power in a 1 versus 5 here. Only 7 points of damage has been dealt to Dignitas. There's a little bit more, but no frags found. C-Power starts us off strong with a nice flick. But the time is running dry. Dignitas, they're all around. Maybe deja vu, the 1v4 on the A-bomb site, but it's not going to happen. That's the third.
As I said, it was important that Dignitas start to come back into this one. FORZE do just about have the money for another buy here. I think C-Power will drop an AK over to Flit, and they will have a buy. There won't be tons of utility to work with, but I think they'll have the full rifles nonetheless. And it won't be the worst. Coming into this one, though, considering they were 11-1 up, I think they would very, very much like to close this one out as a 12-3 half to be happy with it. We were talking about in the pre-game that FORZE were the ones that were slightly favoured going into this map. Of course, Dust 2 is one of their stronger maps. They were favoured as the side to take this series as a whole anyway. Was I expecting it to be this dominant? Absolutely not. Dignitas need to realise what's at stake here and play their hearts out to pull this one back. Otherwise, it is almost certainly going to be FORZE facing up against the Mad Lions in the finals later this evening.
So quick burst out of double doors for Jerry, wanting to get a little up close and personal as C-Power watches and waits from behind. Freiburg really can't get too aggressive here, knowing that those double doors is a big point of contention for that AWP, and that is a lovely shot. Opens things through and leaves just a defense of 2 over by B. FORZE, well, takes so much damage, just completely blind shots through that smoke. And now they're forced into the Get Right and Forest combination. Back in their heyday, this would be a scary setup to walk into, even in a 5 versus 3. And FORZE are actually circumnavigating it either way. Straight onto short. There goes the bomb. It's a freebie on the A bomb site. And Jerry's still watching for the rotate. Shadow spotted and Forest eliminated. This should be their half over right now. And it absolutely is. Exist a 1 versus 5 for the captain. Obviously knows that it is towards the A bomb site, but very fittingly hits that headshot to finish off proceedings. 12-3.
FORZE reading their opponents like a book there. They go for that mid-B split and then actually change their mind, backtrack over towards A after they've found those initial 2 kills, and it's perfect. They then have the players in place to cut off the rotations. I actually have no idea how they even found those openers. Like C-Power, anticipating that Freiburg was on top of the box and peeking to the left, that's not a common angle to hold, yeah? And that's not an angle that he's been holding loads either this game. So for him to actually swing and land that shot when he just sees probably a third of the body sticking out is incredible. And Jerry with the follow-up, and yeah, they just play that round absolutely perfectly. They have a flawless round, taking less than 40 damage collectively, and a fantastic half as a whole. 12-3. I think Dignitas have certainly got a tall order on their hands to try and pull this one back. And if they don't win the pistol round, I think it's near impossible for them.
Yeah, I think that the pistol is incredibly influential. I'm surprised that we see Dignitas actually contesting for the kills on the scoreboard. I was expecting, we did see Get Right stuck at 1-8 for quite some time during this half. Just taking a brief intermission before we get back into the second side of play here. 12-3 on the board, and this one does look very, very over M&J. We've seen really good T-sides from Dignitas today. I guess that's the one saving grace if we're playing to the underdogs in this scenario. But realistically, I'm sure if those odds came up right now, it's very, very one-sided. If you bet $1, you get 1 cent profit. That is, I don't know, not the best investment, I'd say.
It absolutely isn't. Do you know what I just remembered, Squid? A couple of weeks back, we casted a series with FORZE and Copenhagen Flames, and FORZE had a 14-1 half. Copenhagen Flames brought it all the way back and ended up losing 16-14. I don't think history will repeat itself here, but it's something to bear in mind. However, C-Power has just put 2 incredible headshots down onto Exist and Forest. And as Face Crack comes in as well, turns the flash, and he's in a fantastic position to deal with this as well. But oh my goodness, FORZE can get right, finding 2 opening shots, Freiburg with another, and all of a sudden this is a 2-on-2 with the bomb down.
They had no idea about Face Crack. Nevertheless, Freiburg finishes him, but that's the round done and dusted. FORZE, it gets worse for Dignitas. 13-3. This is pretty much where you lose.
Yeah, absolutely is. That was a must-win pistol round, and well, after these 2 headshots, look at that from C-Power. Absolutely fantastic. I thought that was almost certainly theirs. Dignitas bounced back, brought it into a 3-on-3, but FORZE were just too fast on those rotations and too snappy with those headshots. Nonetheless, Dignitas have actually got a decent investment here off the back of that bomb plant.
Ooh. Wow, that is a bit of bang for your buck in round number 17. Not often that you see the AWP coming out this early, but on Dust 2, you'd expect C-Power to get it out straight away. Trying to contend against these AKs now, as this is a little bit of over-aggression from Flit, and Forest seems to be, semi-aware, but there's the Deagle to take him out of commission. Quick double entry for FORZE. I mean, they've really shot this map away. And this might be just them trailblazing onto 16 and really embarrassing Dignitas in this third and final map. Remember, the scoreline really doesn't matter in this one. A win is a win. And there's another traded frag over towards the middle of the map. This works out perfectly for FORZE. So the only real goal is to keep the AWP in play. I guess that Almeza M4A1S as well. You want a maximum buy going into the next round. And finding as many kills with the MP9 as possible is a great way to ensure that. Double AKs, but they still have to challenge C-Power. And this is such a slim head glitch angle that he's taking. It's all a matter of timing when Jerry decides to go for the push. But with 30 seconds left, they're being forced not quite into the blender, but into the AWP instead. And let's see what C-Power can connect with. Just darting and ducking right in behind. Misses that reactionary shot. And the secondary allows them to crawl in closer. But here come the kills, and Exist also finished. 14-3 for FORZE.
They saved those 2 important rifles as well. And that is absolutely incredible there from FORZE. I think that's actually a real shame that Dignitas lost that round and actually lost that man advantage so early on. Because as a T, you never run down suicide. It's called suicide for a reason, yeah? Because you never run down it when you know that your opponents have got an AWP. But in that last round, there's almost no way that they're expecting C-Power to have an AWP in hand in the second. And therefore, they go for that push with those 2 AKs, and C-Power punishes them for it. Round number 18, double AWP setup in play. They're just against these pistols. An opportunity to go on to series point, and wow, what a fashion to do so.
This definitely looks very done and dusted here. FORZE, we know that sometimes the CT side can be shaky. We saw a weird result the other week, as you said, against the Copenhagen Flames, but I'm not expecting a repeat performance here. They look like a definitely different squad right now. And with the double AWPs in play, how did Dignitas break this buy even just once in this series? They're getting cut apart with the pistols. Exist in Halzuk, another 2-man push towards this A-bomb site. Yes, the C4 wants to connect their way in, but there's the flash. Easy combination. Exist doesn't even get blinded up by it, and C-Power able to do tons of damage. 15-3, and FORZE have 12 opportunities to get to these grand finals.
Well, I don't see them giving up any of these opportunities, but even if they give up a few, I certainly don't see them giving up 12. Double AWP setup once again. They have been absolutely phenomenal in these rounds. I mean, they're just not allowing Dignitas anything. They're not allowing them anything to work with here. It's not necessarily that Dignitas are making tons of mistakes. It's just that FORZE's fundamentals have been incredible. Right now, hyper aggression from GetRight does actually allow him to find that opening man. But charging through so many Molotovs, there's no one there to support him, and his teammates are all coming up long. This almost certainly draws the rotations in, but FaceCrack has to go big here. He has to find 1, maybe 2 to keep this one working, and oh, he does exactly that.
C-Power is so close here, basically kissing up against GetRight, and I don't know if he gives away the information, but GetRight definitely doesn't receive it. Right above this smoke, can't find the secondary shot. This is another 2 versus 2 on this A-bomb site. Dignitas's final round, perhaps, of this tournament. C-Power, he's closing in from short. Just needs to connect with his first shot, and it's not going to come through. Halzuk might keep Dignitas alive with a consolation round here in Dust 2. As Almeza closes in from the back lines and cannot convert. 15-4. Dignitas, they need a whole lot more.
Exist as well, searching for that AWP right at the end and being unable to retrieve it. They can't invest in another. They've just got the rifles to work with here in round number 20. Once again, with the money in the bank, FORZE will invest up. There's actually less money there than I initially thought there would be. FaceCrack's down to that mag 7. A couple of FAMASs coming out. Limited utility on these guys as well. Nonetheless, the AWP on C-Power. That's been that massively impactful weapon so far this series. Dignitas have been gifted long control.
Has been their only saving grace as of this point, this T side, which is actually pretty young. 15-4. FORZE with 11 opportunities to close. This is usually where we see them play some of their shakier Counter-Strike, but still an opportunity to close, with Get Right being the initial prod. I don't think they actually know how close he is to this A bomb site. Nevertheless, finding him. Flick just playing within these smokes, and he is still standing. Freiburg gonna instantly put this bomb down. Oh no, Flick, he is so up close and personal. I was wondering if he was gonna try and go for the ninja there. Maybe even does tap the bomb. I didn't hear it. The jumping Mag 7, that's 2 kills for Face Crack. He might single-handedly end this series. The Mag 7's gonna be useless at these ranges, but with Halzuk missing the shots, that is 16 for FORZE. It's grand finals time for them as they knock Dignitas out in the semi-finals. What a fantastically played third and final map for them. I've got to be honest, Dignitas didn't play the best Counter-Strike,